Honourable members, prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee with favour upon the government of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic, endow members of Parliament and Ministers of State with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labours of God, this land and people may be well and truly served, and thy good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the effort of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honourable members, let's turn to item 2. Item 2. Roll call. Let me invite the table to quickly go through the roll of members.
Abaka Samuel Erickson. Abdullahi Jacob Idris. Abdul Latif Dan. Abdul Salam Adams. Ablakwa Samuel Okujeto. Abuaji George Kwame. Abuaji Nyampong. Abudulai Bazurera. Achampon Brian. Achampon Charles. Achampon Richard. Akwa Kusofa Karin Edem. Akwa Alexander Kwesi. Adam Hamza. Adam Mohammed Amin. Adams Kofidi. Aditedi Safori. Adoya Frimpong. Ejei Kwesi Boateng. Adom Frederick Obeng. Adumako Mensa Alex. Adumako Melings. Adongo Isaac. Edu Johnson Kweku. Edu Chumiawo.
Present.
Afenyo Markin Alexander Kwamina. Afol Eric. Efrifa Mensa Kwesi Owusu. Efriye Nana Yu. Efriye Kweku. Alga James. The Charles. Agboja Kwame Govins. Ejepon Ken Ohene. Ejari Alexander. Ejekumi Manuel Kwejo. Ajima Menu Kweku. Ajima Rolling Zaneto. Ejeni Mbwati Kweku. Ahinkwa Kingsley Carlos. Ahinkwa Frederick Yao. Ahi Samson. Ahiafo Bernard. Edu William Oreku. Akando Kwabna Minta. Akanvari Balidia Lamisi. Achiansa Molata. Alauzuga Albert Kuka. Al Hassan Abdullah Idi. Al Hassan Bashir A. Husseini. Al Hassan Seyram. Al Hassan Saibu Suini. Aliu Mahama Umar Farouk. Aloute Angelo Foriwa. Amankwa Nicholas. Amenu Kofi. Ameu John Peter. Ami Altremi Kwesi. Amwa Oseibonsu. Amwa Stephen. Amwaku Andre Siama. Amwa Kwesi. Ampim Thomas Nyako. Ampofu Chumesi Kwame. Amprechum Sapon Kweku. Andre Emmanuel Ejay. Enim NSDL. Enim Anodon Frank. Enchi Eugene Boache. Anyimi Kwame. Apa Clement Abbas. J. Patricia. Apia Kubi Andy Kwame. Ama Prince Hamidu. Asamoah Vincent Opon. Asante Kwejo. Asante Boatin Kweku. Asensu Boachi Francis. Esiama Isaac Kwame. Esiama Kwabna Mankwa. Esiama Eje Nana Madukua. Asafwa Vincent Eko. Atamils Samuel. Adams Kluje. Avoka Cletus Apu. Ewa Ignatius Bafo. Awuni Theresa Ladi. Ayamba Ladi Ayi. Ayariga Mahama. Iku Benjamin Nate. Ayine Dominica Kriting. Befi Michael Lottery. Baba Benson Tongo. Baligi Bright Bachi Yelville. Bandi Mazuma Bednego. Bano Patrick. Batel Sheila. Bawa Edward Abambri. Bedra Emmanuel Kwesi. Bettino Joseph. Blanton Alex. Boachi Henry Yadom. Boachi Yadom Patrick. Boama Patrick Yao. Boatin Akwesi Dakun. Boatin Amapoma. Boatin Joseph Apia. Bobie Evans Opoku. Boche Daniel. Brian Bawa. Boa Emmanuel Amakofi. Bukari Joseph Nipe. Chinyami Rishaku. Trajia Samson Tongumbo. Chiwete Andrew Jari. Prince Olabeku. Kujo Comfort Doyo. Kujo Joseph. Kujo Robert Wisdom. Da Fiamakwa Roxy Nelson Echekwame. Da Thomas Ada. Da Pila Cletu Seidu. Da Daniel Ohene. Da Kumensa Kwabnotre. Da Dawuni Abukari. Derry Ambrose. Jonobwa Alex Tete. Donko Elvis Morris. Donkna. Duka George Mreku. Eyanana. Forjo John Intim. Force in Castle Atokba. Frimpon Joseph. Yakpa Kwame Jujoli. George Samuel Nate. Gansa Hassan Kobna. Gate Joe. Gidiso Wisdom. Gomadoyao. Gomashi Ablajifa. Jenfi Manuel Akwesi. Jan Alexander. Jan Mensan Richard. Hamon Kobnata Hill. Hansen Norte Yves. Haruna Seidu. Hayford Ophelia Men. Hotoja Alexander Roosevelt. Ibrahim Ahmed. Ibrahim Mutala Muhammad. Ibrahim Azura Mohammed. Idrisu Habib. Idrisu Haruna. Isifu Seidu. Tabajon Benham. Jaja Yusuf Isaka. Jalula Stephen Pambin. Joshua Godfrey Seidu. Jinapo John Abdullahi. Jinapo Samuel Abdullahi. Kinney Jeffrey. Dixon Adomako. Kunedu Akwesi. Kumsin Mavis Hawa. Kosa Martin Kwekwe J. Mensah. Podo Benjamin Komla. Kum Ebenezer Kojo. Kuma John Ampuntwa. Kuma Joseph Kwame. Kuyon Solomon. Kwachiaka Peter Yao. Kwatinkman. Kofi Festus Sewa. J. Mensah Bonsu Osei. Tremi Nelson. Labi Oscar Ufori. Lati Agnes Namomo. Liwal Oscar. Mahama Siesieni. Mahama Nasser Ture. Menu Adaboses. Mafu Emmanuel. Mafu Kofia Hinkra. Mbomba Thomas. Mensah Bettina Crosby. Mensah Francisca Otain. Mensah Isaac J. Mensah Joseph Kwesi. Mensah Tina Gifty Naile. Mensah Andrew Kofi Japa. Cynthia Mamle. Muntaka Muhammad Mubarak. Musa Abdul Aziz Ayaba. Nanja Sanja. na panic. Na wani Mark Kurt. Newman Dakwa. Niti Dominic Binga Maduna. In Kansam Boedu Mavis. No Koi Kofi Ako. No be Ernest Henry. No Tuko Toe Peter Kwesi. In Team Adelaide. In Team Augustine. In Tosu Helen Ajua. Nyakote Albert Tete. Nyako Bismarck Tete. Nyako Kingsley. Nyako Kwamina Minta. Obintechi George Kwabena. Obin Boati Alfred. Oklulindo Hinewa Akwele. Odampton Isaac Ashia. Jari Elizabeth. Okofu Data Williams. Ochri Ejekum Kofi. Opoku Davis Ansa. Opoku Eric. Opoku Isaac Yao. Opon Kroma Kojo. Osai John Frimpong. Osai Kennedy Nyako. Osai Asari Abena. Osai Wusu Joseph. Oti John Kwabna Blaise. Utai Christian Kolete. Owusu Bio Benito. Wusu Ekuful Esla. Peito Desmond de Graft. Pelpo Abdul Rashid Hassan. Prempe Frida Kosia. Prempe Matthew Opoku. Kwate Henry. Kwesi James Jechi. Ramadan Mohammed Adamu. Rickett Hagan George Kweku. Safo Sarah Ajua. Sandari Sebastian Meniso. Sani Suleiman Abdamu. Sani John Kobna Abam Abwa. Soya Queen Tamami Pokua. Sefe Kwame. Setre Benjamin Yebwa. Sosu Francis Xavier Kojo. Sowa Dela Ajua. Sowa Rita Nao Dole. Superu Adams Mohammed. Suleimana Adama. Suleimana Al-Hassan Tampuli. Suleimana Yusuf. Suma Anthony Impekara. Tahidu Abdul Razak. Teria Augustine. Tel Abi Ebenezer Klite. Tete Joycelyn. Tete Sylvester. Tete Agotri Gisela. Tete Joseph Akwete. Toffee Dockers. Tobu Peter Lanchini. Tuferu Mohammed Hadi. Chum Ampofu Gifty. Chum Berima Paul Apreku. Yusuf Mustafa. Vanderpoy Alfred Oko. Vanderpoy Edwin Nilante. Von David. Wakpal Daniel Insala. Reku Robert Bright. Woyome Kobna Mensa. Zidim Bid and Watazumo.
Well, thank you very much. Table. Honorable members, we don't have any from the presidency, neither do we have any formal communication by the speaker. I will therefore turn to item 5, which is correction of votes and proceedings and official report. Honorable member for Tano South, what's the issue?
Mr. Speaker, I did not hear my name. I've been in the, I did not hear my name.
Honorable member, I just want to draw attention to yourself. So, Honorable member 5, correction of rules and proceedings. We begin from page 1.
It's not, Mr. Speaker, sorry.
Page 2.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Honorable member for Asenoff.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I didn't hear my name either. James Jachi Quason.
Honorable member for Asenoff.
Thank you.
It appears your name was mentioned at the time you weren't in the chamber.
I've been here. I've always not missed my name. Thank you.
I'm just saying your name was mentioned at the time you weren't in the chamber. So you just get the register and sign your name. Very well. So we begin from page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Page number 10. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Page 16. Page 15. Page 16. Page number 17. Page 18. Page 19. And finally, page 20. Honourable members, in the absence of any corrections, the votes and proceedings of Thursday, the 29th of February 2024 is hereby adopted as the true records of proceedings. Leadership, are you going to questions?
Respectfully, Mr. Speaker, I proceed with the next item, the order paper, that is a business statement.
Very well. So, honourable members, item 6. Item 6 in today's order paper, the business statement for the ensuing 5th week. Let me invite the leader of the House to do us the honors by presenting the business statement for next week. Yes, Honorable Leader.
Right, Honorable Honorable Speaker, the Business Committee met yesterday to arrange the business of the House for the ensuing week, ending 8th of March 2024. Honorable Speaker, the arrangements of business were agreed upon as follows. 1. That in total 40 questions have been admitted by the chair, and same have been programmed as follows. Minister of Education will be in the House to answer 10 questions. Minister of Energy, same. Minister of Finance, 10 questions. Minister of Roadways, 10 questions. Mr. Speaker, we have some urgent questions, but unfortunately we could not program them. We, in total, expect that the written answers will be provided and same printed in the order paper as the ministers come before us to do their oral answering. Mr. Speaker, we've also provided that pursuant to Order 92 of the rules of this House, any minister who has a statement of government policy may avail himself and deliver same. Then, of course, members are also at liberty to rely on Order 93 to make statements. Speaker, a couple of bills are in our possession, and we hope that in course of the week, relying on the rules of this House, such bills may be considered and papers laid if they've come before us, and reports taken if need be. Of course, Mr. Speaker, there will be consequential resolution motions on motions, and if any should come up, Mr. Speaker, we pray to, with your leave, to take them. Sitting time and extended sitting time. Mr. Speaker, Wednesday, the 7th of March, is holiday. Therefore, we have decided to program Monday, the 4th of March, as a day for us to sit, so that we don't lose out in the holiday, which is the Wednesday. So, Speaker, the necessary arrangements will be made for the pleasure and comfort of members because of the extended sitting. So, Speaker, your committee encourages members to observe the Independence Day and ensure that their constituents participate fully as such. So, Speaker, there be no further business for consideration. I hereby submit that the House adopts this proposed business statement for the ensuing week, and, Mr. Speaker, in doing so, I rely on two main orders, the 2162 and Order 67 of the rules of this House. Suffice to say that this is one of the few motions that we don't need anybody to second. Also, for the perusal of members, the committee has attached hereto a 6-page document which explains the order in which the business of the ensuing week is to be taken. It is for members to follow, so that those who have questions to answer on a particular day will prepare themselves and come. Mr. Speaker, without I so submit, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Leader. Honorable members, the business statement for next week has been read to us. If there's any member who has anything by way of contribution to make, let me first and foremost invite my teacher, a member for Asante Achim Central. Yes, Honorable Anymedu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is this bill, Ghana Industrial Property Office Bill 2023. Mr. Speaker, I refer you to the agenda for this meeting, commencing from the 6th of February. At page 8 of the said agenda, 3 bills at the consideration stage, of which one have been dealt with. That's a proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill. Then we have the interstate succession bill, which has been advertised as being under consideration. Then we have an industrial property office bill. Surprisingly, this is omitted from the order paper, and I may want to seek, Mr. Speaker, your guidance as to what is happening to the Ghana Industrial Property Office. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I had my question in the business statement that ended on Friday, 23rd February 2024. The question was for me to ask the Minister for Roads and Highways when Yipala Babanyuro, Sola Digoro Yiri, Kalba Uro, Kalba Gakon, Nakpala Dendeperi, Blama Chobritin, then Tona the Complayiri and Doyuri roads would be constructed. The question was indeed advertised on the order paper for Thursday, 20 February 2024. The question was subsequently withdrawn. Mr. Speaker, my concern and worry is a question that was captured in the business statement was advertised on the order paper and was withdrawn without any communication to me. So I think members, when their questions are advertised and withdrawn, if for any reason the question was withdrawn, as a member and the owner of the question, I should be made aware that I will not be able to take the question because of these reasons. And so, Mr. Speaker, I think that members deserve to know why their questions have been wrong, so that we prepare ourselves accordingly.
Well, Honorable Member for Sola. Let me come to Nadoli, Honorable Anthony Suma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mine is a suggestion to the House Business Committee and to the House at large.
Honorable Leader, I may implore your attention to concerns of members.
Thank you, Speaker. I said mine is a suggestion to the Business Committee and the House at large. The leader of us rightly recognized that we should take off Safe March and participate in the Safe March activities. I think that important days like Safe of March, our Independence Day, this House should make provision for members to go to their constituencies and participate in the Independence celebration. Because for someone like me, Nadoli Kalu, if I have to attend Independence Day, I'll need an additional day or two to be able to travel out, participate in the activity, and return. But the day before and the day after, this House will be sitting. It will mean that, obviously, I'll be absent, and several others. And for that reason, some people may not be able to attend the Independence Day celebration. It's a suggestion for the consideration of of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, let me come to Tamale North.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity, and let me thank the Majority Leader for the able presentation of the business statement for next week. Mr. Speaker, as representatives of the people, it is important that we continue to be alive to their concerns and their needs. Mr. Speaker, in the past week, many countrymen and women have been complaining about the fact that they sleep in darkness for hours on end. The power situation in their communities continue to affect not only their comfort, but also their businesses. Mr. Speaker, there is information that our power agencies in the last couple of weeks have been shedding power between 280 megawatts and 480 megawatts in some cases. Mr. Speaker, many have called for the power agencies to at least indicate to them for proper planning of their lives. Mr. Speaker,
I may not cut you. I don't think it's the discussion.
Mr. Speaker, let me end. Mr. Speaker, let me end. I'm going to make a request.
Because the way you are introducing the topic.
Mr. Speaker, I'm going to make a request, and it's important that I give you the basis of
you
my
go on,
request.
but be snappy.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, it is clearly a worrying situation. Many people and businesses are unable to plan their activities and their programs, and they are having to sometimes also find extra money to power their generators for their businesses. Many people do not know what is happening. We are told there are planned and unplanned maintenance programs, yet, like I said, there's also the conversation about load that is shared, sometimes between 300 megawatts and all. Mr. Speaker, it is important that the leadership of the House, especially the Majority Leader, makes it possible for the Energy Minister to brief the House on the power situation and why countrymen and women have had to deal with the power fluctuations, the on and off that we are told not to describe as doom. So we need to be told what the reasons are. The Ghanaian people need to understand why they sleep in darkness, why they do not have power to power their businesses, why they have to spend
Honorable
to produce power. Mr. Speaker, so I therefore make a passionate appeal to the leader to schedule the Minister for Energy next week to brief us on the power situation. Thank you very much.
Honorable Suhini, fine, you are making an appeal, but don't you yourself can also bring the minister here by filing an urgent question?
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the suggestion for me to file an urgent question. Mr. Speaker, I have urgent questions I have filed, and they are still yet to be, scheduled. And I filed these urgent questions 2-3 months ago in some cases. Mr. Speaker, so I think that this situation is so urgent that I do not think the approach to the scheduling of questions is the proper route for me, and that's why I'm appealing to the Majority Leader to schedule the Minister next to brief us on this.
Well noted. The leader will respond.
Thank you.
Let me come to Honorable Crementa Park.
Grateful, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I accept the proposition made by the Business Committee that we sit on Monday, and I notice that there are 10 questions to be responded to by the Minister for Education. I want to pray. I pray the Majority Leader to do everything humanly possible to ensure that the Minister for Education comes to respond to these questions. Some of these questions have been in the system and have been recycled for close to 1 year.
and education continues to be a very important sector. The challenges bedeviling our educational sector are getting insurmountable. So, leader, give us the assurance that you would tell the minister.
Honorable Clement,
I'm saying so because last week the minister was supposed to be here to these questions. Barely 24 before he came, I got a call from the table office that the minister would not longer be available. And I'm afraid that if we don't speak to this, it may happen again. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Okay, I'm taking the last three and we will make them come to Honorable Kijotu. I am calling.
Yeah, I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I commend the Majority Leader for the presentation of the business statement. My first concern, Mr. Speaker, relates to the fact that it's been more than a year since the Honorable Minister for Forest and Regional Integration appeared before us to answer questions. As ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee, I have filed numerous questions, some urgent questions which have been pending for several months. I know of some of the members of our committee who have also filed questions, and they've been asking me what is happening about it. I do know that the Honourable Minister is currently on a campaign tour to be Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Perhaps we can relax our rules a bit, as we do sometimes, and allow for any of her deputies to respond to those questions. Because Parliament should not be waiting in perpetuity until such a time that, and that campaign will go until October of this year, by which time we are preparing for the elections of December 7th. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that some communication should go to the Foreign Minister to allow her deputies, if she's still campaigning and not within the jurisdiction, so that these important questions, some of which are urgent, can be responded to. Then secondly, Mr. Speaker, I note that the Honourable Majority Leader indicates that the motion on the President's message on the state of the nation to thank His Excellency and to continue with the debate is going to continue as scheduled, except that there is no indication on time. Yesterday, what happened on the floor of this House is something that should not happen again. A business statement was presented last week and agreed to. We were given the time, we agreed on the time, that the mover and the seconder will have 25 minutes. Ranking members, ministers, chairmen of committees will have 50, members will have 10 minutes. Only for the time to be changed, and it totally distorted how members had planned and had prepared and all of that. So when we agree on time and on a schedule, let's go by it. If not, then really what's the usefulness of this exercise of agreeing to a business statement? So I want the Majority Leader to be clear. Let's know, are we going to continue with the time as we agreed? Because yesterday, 25 minutes used to 50 minutes. And the notice came midstream. Whilst we were 1 minute to go, then I was told that I have 1 minute, 14 minutes. And there's so many issues we had listed to talk about.
Honorable,
Finally, Mr. Speaker, finally, I keep talking about the referrals to committees and outstanding motions, which this House has debated and agreed that we are going to have a bipartisan inquiry into those matters. One key one is the probe on the National Cathedral. A motion was filed, admitted by Mr. Speaker. We debated. We were asked to present names. Our side presented the names. Our colleagues on the majority side are the ones holding us to ransom. Last week, the ranking member on the health committee also raised the issue with the COVID-19 probe. The chairman wouldn't even call a meeting. There are over 700 referrals and probes of this nature. Mr. Speaker, we are not looking good as an institution. People are complaining. Let's end our keep, change the trajectory of this House. And I hope that the new majority leader will add this to his priority and will clear the backlog, these outstanding matters, so that we can renew some confidence in this institution. We can continue this.
Thank you. I'll take the last one from Mutala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've succeeded in catching your eye, Mon. I know. I plead that, Mr. Speaker, you don't change your mind. You know you are my very good friend. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to add my voice to two very important statements made by two of my colleagues. One, the urgent questions that many of us have filed in this House. They cease to be urgent, actually. For a member of Parliament to file an urgent question, it means that there is an urgent need for that question to be addressed. Now, if you file an urgent question which to be addressed, and it takes more than 2 months, the purpose for which that question is filed becomes needless. As a matter of fact, if it is not urgent, it won't be accepted. For us to complain that urgent questions were filed and have not been answered to, it means that the Speaker accepted them and agreed that they were urgent questions. Yet the ministers whose duty and responsibility is to respond to those questions, sometimes they don't even write to you or communicate to you why they are not able to come to the House to answer those questions. I think it's extremely worrying. My other issue has to do with the doomsday we are experiencing today. Mr. Speaker, just 2 days today, was a lady, a national service person, who was caught in the lift when we experienced doomsday house. Trapped in the lift. She was traumatized when finally she got out of the lift. Are we able to quantify the psychological trauma that people go through as a result of this? So it is not only necessary, Mr. Speaker, it is essential that the Minister for Energy or the appropriate ministry respond to this House to explain to the people's representatives. I don't think they can gather 32 million Ghanaians to be explaining to them the circumstances that occasioned the doomsday we are experiencing. The only people more convenient that the minister can explain to us so that we can explain to our constituents is this House. So that question has nothing to do with politics.
Honorable Mutala, well noted.
Oh.
Well noted. It's the same thing Honorable Suhini highlighted. I mean, we've gotten it. The leader has gotten it.
I hope you direct the
Honorable, it's okay. The leader will respond to it. Yes, last one.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. I want to thank the Leader of the House for presenting his first business statement as a leader. The first thing, Mr. Speaker, I want to just add to what Honorable Ablakwa said. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't look good on us as a House when something that affects the people of this country and they expect their leaders to take decisions. And we set up committees, and for one reason or the other, one side of the House decides not to present members from their side to serve on this committee. And as a result, the committees can't work. Mr. Speaker, we are making an appeal to our colleague, the new leader of the majority side, to take urgent steps to invite members from his side to serve on the National Cathedral probe, the Akosombo Dam spillage, and the COVID-19 probe. Mr. Speaker, these are major issues, and I believe that his leadership will bring some new enthusiasm to do this. Mr. Speaker, we shouldn't leave for Easter without putting this committee together to start work. Mr. Speaker, also about the ECG power outages here. Mr. Speaker, this morning, when I was working on one of the corridors, I even heard some of the parliamentary staff saying, we will never take the lifts again. Mr. Speaker, I'm telling you, I mean, if you are on the 12th floor in the night, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Leader, not cutting you short. You see, the same thing Honorable has talked about. Honorable Mutala has talked about it. I mean, allow this the leader to respond to.
Mr. Speaker,
it's the same thing we are repeating.
Mr. Speaker, I'm just helping all of us to do it. Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure. Look, there are people in this country that are claustrophobic. There are people when even they are in the room and you tell them the door is locked, it can create a psychological problem. So, and Mr. Speaker, for me to tell you that the ECG boss was on TV yesterday boasting that what was Parliament doing? Parliament was doing their job. They were also doing their job, putting off people's light. And Mr. Speaker, I don't think that is right. Parliament does not generate IGF. Mr. Speaker, Parliament does not generate IGF. We don't have any extra money to pay ECG. If Parliament is unable to pay our electricity, it's simply because government haven't released money to Parliament. If we had our own money, we would have paid the ECG, the bill. So we take it seriously for the ECG boss to be boasting that, yes, I turned the light off because I'm also the job. I mean, Mr. Speaker, I think this is an affront to Parliament, and I wish that maybe you direct that he should retract that. But Mr. Speaker, Honorable Amabua said this morning, I'm the fourth colleague saying this. Mr. Speaker, it's a serious matter. We are not power outages.
Well.
But the issue about the outages, something must be done.
Very well, leader, very well. Let me now invite the leader of the House to respond to all the concerns raised by members.
Mr. Speaker, a colleague wanted to get assurances from leadership regarding the Ministry of Education. I'm sure the Honorable Minister is in the House. He's heard you. But his records will speak for him. You and I know that he's been that punctual when it comes to answering questions in this House. So be assured that that intervening situation he found himself led to that notice he gave. But this man has been very punctual. You know how working he is. A very sincere, honest, humble man. So please, let's give him another opportunity. Mr. Speaker, a colleague wanted to know about Independence Day attendance and arrangement to be made for members. I believe these are housekeeping matters. It's an important matter is brought to the attention of the House. We've not considered it, so we'll look into it. Then the incidents of yesterday. Mr. Speaker, very unfortunate. I think that leadership would have to engage the ECG management on this matter. I also followed the interview, and when I inquired from him whether or not our light went off because of a deliberate disconnection as a result of some other reasons, he said no. He said emphatically no. So sometimes when people on radio and they are asked certain questions, the way I watched it because his response was that Parliament was doing its work, we're also working. As to what he meant by we're also working was a matter of interpretation. So I asked him, Mr. Mahama, are you saying your boys or your men came to disconnect Parliament of Ghana? He said no, it couldn't have been the case. So I want us to talk about it, with him. So, Mr. Speaker, the House should be assured that we will get to the bottom of it and engage more. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of urgent questions, urgent questions. Some months back, I think Honorable Ablakwa, Honorable Ablakwa did something very classical. He followed up, got the question book, followed up to the ministry, and ensured that indeed his questions have been transmitted, got the dates and all. Sometimes the issue may be on admissibility. We have to be sure that Mr. Speaker has admitted it first. Because there are times that we file an urgent question, Mr. Speaker may admit them as regular questions. So let's check all of that first before I take full responsibility of that. Mr. Speaker, so we have heard him. I think the energy situation requires urgent answers from the minister. So I would urge him to file an urgent question. Let's follow up. No, you file an urgent question. We'll all follow up for you. We'll all follow up for you. You get the minister to be programmed to come and answer. If you file, Mr. Speaker should be available to admit it. If it's admitted and you follow up like Honorable Ablakwa did, by Monday, they will transmit the question to the ministry. I will personally follow up for you so that Tuesday he comes to answer the question. So just take note of that. Mr. Speaker, the major issues have been addressed. I responded to him. You were not paying attention. Mr. Speaker, all other matters that have been shall be attended to. Speaker, I repeat, all matters that have been raised shall be attended to. All other matters. It's not me. I'm saying all other matters that have been raised shall be attended to. Honorable Ablakwa, don't give me a hard time.
Speaker, ordinarily I wouldn't raise you, but this is a very serious national issue. I heard the majority leader situating the solution to an urgent question. I humbly submit that the challenges we are facing as a country requires a briefing from the energy minister. Madam Speaker, I have a report from the supply room. 3 days ago, we shared 480 megawatts. Yesterday was 508. Likely today we are sharing 600 megawatts. That's the whole of Ashanti region, Western and Central region. Mr. Speaker, it is important that the Minister of Energy brief this House and the country about the challenges we face. It's very, very important. I think it goes beyond simply asking an urgent question. And so this must find expression in this week's business statement that we invite the Minister urgently to come and give us a briefing on the energy situation.
Very well. So on that note, Leader, you want to respond? Suhini, why do you do that? Yes, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, on the issue of the power situation, I hold the view that there are specific situations that have been brought to the attention of this House by members. In particular, our respected friend, Honorable Alhassan Suhili. I believe that an urgent question is the appropriate vehicle to use. There will be no issue. However, the urgent question will rather facilitate his coming into the House. So let us encourage him to file it today. We as leaders can follow up, and have volunteered to follow up once he draws my attention to it, and Mr. Speaker admits say, then we make sure that table office records and gets it transmitted to the minister. Honorable Matthew Opoku Prempeh, I'm told, is back to the jurisdiction this afternoon. So there should be no problem. If in today, and they file and is admitted, and it gets to him, I'm sure he will be more than prepared to come. So colleagues, I pray that we consider the urgent question route. And when it comes, members will have the opportunity to ask their supplementary, because it's not going to be a constituency-specific question. And now, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh is of this House, a very senior member of this House, and I'm sure he knows that when he comes here, he must come here fully prepared. So members should oblige me on this. Mr. Speaker, I so pray.
Very well. Honourable members, I hope you can bring the business statement to a close. Do you have something to say?
Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm just making a follow-up to what the Deputy Leader said. Now, you realize that these urgent questions have provisions in our standard orders, and people must be seen to be doing the right thing. If for any reason somebody is making a follow-up, that doesn't imply that our standing orders are not adequately being, have not made enough provision to cater for these urgent questions. Now, an urgent question has to be treated as an urgent question. And I want to say that for the fact that Sami Ablakwa made follow-ups, it doesn't mean that everybody has to make follow-up, because we are adequately covered anytime we file an urgent question. So I want, Mr. Speaker, with your guidance, for this House to respect these standard orders. Once it is an essence, people are mandated to do certain things that should make it an essence. So I want to call with your guidance, I want to call on this House to respect the dictates of the orders when we have to deal with urgent questions. That is my submission, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Yes, honourable question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Several members have expressed their concern about the light-off, but I'll divert a little bit. You know, what happened yesterday was as a result of the external supply. But one critical thing that everybody is forgetting is that when the external supply goes off, there should be an emergency one which should come on. But I think that one failed. That one goes to the leadership of the House, that if there is light off, a place like this, within 5 seconds, the generator should come on and give supply to the emergencies, like the chamber, like the lift, and then the way. So, but this one failed. I was here for about 10 minutes, lights were off, and there was no emergency supply. This is what happens in the hospitals. Hospital like this, you have emergency supply. If the main one goes off, the emergency should come on within a certain period. So if there's operation going on, patients will not die. But I think that one fails, and we have forgotten that there's a day which should be serviced and be kept on standby. So if it goes off, which is sometimes inevitable, but the standby one should come on within 5 seconds with something we call the ECB, emergency circuit breaker, should come on and give lighting to the various important aspects of the house. A place like this, maybe the generator will not be enough to carry the whole load of the house, of the parliament, but certain key positions, certain key facilities should be supplied by the generator. I think that one failed, which should be addressed by everybody, especially the leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well noted. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is one national important issue. The West African Examinations Council has indicated that come this year, the BEC candidates will not write Ghanaian language as a compulsory subject, based on a letter received from NACA, that is National Assessment and so. Once the minister is here, Mr. Speaker, this is a national issue, and our constituents have been asking us that Ghanaian language is not going to be written as a compulsory paper. And meanwhile, we are all saying that we should make sure that our children do well in Ghanaian languages. So once the minister is here, if you can give him opportunity, maybe next week, they should schedule him to come and explain to the House the rationale behind that. Because if Ghanaian language, French and Arabic are optional, all the 11 languages, Ghanaian languages, is only one that the child will do and do French or Arabic. So the minister should be given the opportunity next week to come and address this House on the status of Ghanaian language as an optional language, because hitherto it had been a compulsory subject in the WAEC BECE examination. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Honourable members.
We are your children. Normally you start with a smile. I'm not smart. Your son is on his feet. Mr. Speaker, you give him a smile. It's okay. It's okay. Mr. Speaker, it's okay.
Yes. Honourable Swing.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, you are my friend, and I want to sincerely apologize to you for, to express my displeasure, even though it was not captured by the Hansard. I think that I must appreciate the fact that I am not entitled to catch your eye every time. It's not an entitlement, it's an opportunity to catch your eye. Except that I just also want to say that as much as possible, even when I don't catch your eye, don't act dismissive of my attempt to speak. But I sincerely apologize for the way I express my displeasure of the record. I just wish to thank the Deputy Minority Leader for bringing home the point that I was seeking to make about the need for the Minister to brief the House, and also to thank the Majority Leader for recognizing that this is important, except that, an urgent question, like we have all said, in the past not really addressed some of these urgent concerns. So I would wish that, Mr. Speaker, you take this on board as the Empire of the House to perhaps think with it and give a directive as to the best way to deal with this urgent concern of our representatives. Because when we all live here and out there, our constituents want to know what the power situation is all about. So, Mr. Speaker, once again, my sincere apologies, but I hope that you will take this appeal on board and request the Minister to brief the House instead of the resort to an urgent question. Thank you very much.
Well. And members, I see on the business statement that next week the Minister for Energy will be.
Mr. Speaker, as I have already said, I would personally follow up he should file the question. I'm giving you that assurance. Mr. Speaker, let's do the question, the urgent question. He should file it now. I'm sure even now, he will just take it to the speakers or get it admitted. Let it be admitted, Mr. Speaker, and ensure that the minister comes. So, Mr. Speaker, let's deal with it as an urgent question. And I've given my assurance. Mr. Speaker, this is an assurance being given. He predicated his application on the ground that sometimes urgent questions are not attended to. But I don't want us to go into that debate. Because when an urgent question is admitted, it is an urgent question. Filing it is not enough. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm pleading.
Well, Leader, I was going to say that once he will be here next week, then we can just draw his attention that once he comes here, he speak to that particular issue. That was what I was going to say. But be it as it may, if the leader is directing that we should file an urgent question, fine.
The Speaker, I made a request to you as a Speaker. I was expecting you to make a rule on it that in the coming ensuing week, you will request the minister to come and give a statement on the state of the power sector. And so I'm expecting you to make a ruling on it, to request the minister to come in.
But Leader, personally, I don't see any difference. He'll be here anyway. So I don't think if we ask him when he comes to just give Ghanaians what is going on, I don't think they say any. So Leader, just agree that Leader, I'm just saying I don't see any difference. Well. The leader is still insisting that we should go through by. So, honorable members, on that note, we bring the business statement to a close. I thank you and I hereby declare that the business statement for next week is hereby adopted. Honorable members, before we proceed to the next item, kindly indulge me to acknowledge in the public gallery our children, our nephews, our nieces who have come all the way from so areas to come and witness what is actually going on in their own chamber. So I will mention the schools who have found their interest to visit us today. The first school is Akropong School for the Blind. Akropong School for the Blind. They are being led by Samuel Quantin, who is a teacher in the school. And obviously the school is located in Akropong constituency. They are 38 in number. Do you have Akropong member of parliament in the chamber? No. So you are welcome. Second school is Honeypot Academy. Honeypot Academy. They are being led by Rose Akuna Frimpong, who is the headmistress. And the school is located in Adentan constituency. I wrote the MPs here. Yes. Well, Honeypot Academy. You may resume your seat. The third school is Naval-based Junior High School. Naval-based Junior High School. And they are led by Salom Agibi, who is assistant head teacher, and the school is located at Tema East constituency. Tema East constituency. And we have the member of NTA, Tema East constituency, Naval Base Junior High School. You are also 188 in number. Very well. The last school on the list is Prince Ebenezer Memorial School. Prince Memorial Ebenezer School. And they are being led by Francis Ajaku. Francis Ajaku, who is the head teacher. And the school is located at Ho Central. Ho Central. Do you have the, yes, Honorable Podo is around. Yes. And your number is 82 people. So you are all welcome. This is your own house, your own representatives. I hope you have witnessed what is going on. Study hard, and I hope one day you also be here. You may receive. Yes, leadership.
Mr. Speaker, if it pleases you, we may want to proceed with the debate. We've already agreed on the number for the day. Are we starting? Mr. Speaker, we are ably represented this morning by the Honorable Dr. Educhum. Mr. Speaker, he's going to start the charge for the majority. And Mr. Speaker, he's going to take his turn to take us through all the success story in the education sector. Mr. Speaker, we may hear him. I'm introducing him.
Well, Honorable Leader. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, indeed, myself and my senior colleague, the Deputy Minority Leader, were not a conclave. You took some decision on the numbers. Mr. Speaker, I'm not taking you back. But Mr. Speaker, we did only 5 people yesterday. And I'm told that the decision at conclave is to do only. We are told Parliament is not sitting on Wednesday. The debate ends on Thursday. Mr. Speaker, if we start doing 3, 5, how many people will be able to speak before the debate ends? It is just not right. Mr. Speaker, we were prepared for 7 people to speak today. Only to come this morning to hear there has been the decision that only 3 people will speak. Mr. Speaker, I think that we must revisit that. Indeed, we have presented 4. Not the 7. So, Mr. Speaker, because you see, if it is indeed the case that we don't have time, that is why we are doing 3. Is it the case that when we finish the 3, we are closing, there will not be any other business? If that's the case, fine. But if we finish the debate and there's any other business, then we will not accept. We will say that after the 3-3, we must close. But if there will be another business after the debate, then please, let's make it 5-5 to get the cooperation of our side. We are just pleading because so many colleagues want to speak. The government side doesn't want the debate, doesn't want the Mr. Speaker, you are the one who said so well. Tell your story. And when you wait until you get one minister who is ready to come in few minutes and go, then you are introducing him as a superstar. Immediately he finishes, then your side is become empty again. Tell you, we are giving, if we want to do, Mr. Speaker, in the past, we used to do even 10 per day. So, Mr. Speaker, for today, let's do 5-5. Then we can do other businesses. So, please, I know conclave 3-3, but that is not in line with the spirit of the understanding we have from the beginning of the this. It's not in line with the spirit of the understanding we had for the debate. We should do more than 3 today. Then we can do other businesses as you please.
Yes.
Speaker, I think it's for a very good reason that we've been having conclave. Speaker, over the years, he's always been present at conclave. On this occasion, he failed to show up. He was equally engaged in other important matters. That's fine. That's fine. But the co-honorable Doyo was there. And she stood in for all of you. All of you were absent. Probably you should explain to your members why you were absent. And Honorable Doyo was confident and stood in, competent and efficient. This is not a matter. This is not a matter that we should split heads. We had an agreement on businesses to be prosecuted. Two. First one was the Sona. Then, of course, consequentially, the business statement. Then the EPA Act. Kwame, you appreciate how important the EPA Act is. And when I came, I engaged you further on them. So don't blackmail us. With the great effort, don't blackmail us. And the point you made that we start and then he goes away. I mean, that one is not parliamentary. Will you withdraw that? You will withdraw that? So, Speaker, and your good self had given us a wise direction that we do the three, we do the EPA, and then we call it a day. You will always be having your day. On this occasion, you won't have your day. We've always been yielding for you. Today, we will not yield. Let's do the three. We do EPA. If that pleases you, that's fine. So we go by the three, and then we do the EPA, and we call it a day. Again, the Speaker has said that. The Speaker has said, we had also agreed that we will offload all the others to the following week, the ensuing week. Monday, Tuesday, we can even do 7 a day. So on this occasion, we have agreed. Kwame, you are a good man. Don't do that. You are a very good man. Don't do that. Speaker, it is 3 and it is 3.
Honourable Speaker, I think we have to have a compromise position. My view is that because you want to do some other business, let's agree. The Chief Whip minority said, let's compromise on 4-4, and then we'll move forward.
Mr. Speaker, when is the people make an application, who are we in the future to say no? Mr. Speaker, we would agree to the 4. We would agree to the 4. Except to say that, Mr. Speaker, we have an item, this motion at second reading. Mr. Speaker, we were done. So we just want you to put the question so that we start the debate. That's for motion 43. We were done with the debate, the chair of the Constitution and Legal. On the Chartered Institute of Restructuring and Insolvency Practitioners, they're done with the debate. So put the question so that we go to consideration stage. It was at the second reading. Institute of Restructuring and Insolvency. They finished the debate. No, what I'm saying, they finished with the debate. It's such a question to put so that we are done. So, Mr. Speaker, you may put the question on motion 43. Mr. Speaker, 43. Just put the question. We can move to the debate. I think.
Honourable members, let me invite you to page 15. Page 15, item listed 4A. If members may recall, on the 23rd November 2023, the Honourable Deputy Attorney General and Deputy Minister Justice, Ms. Diana Asunabadapa, moved the motion on Chartered Institute of Restructuring and Insolvency, Ghana Bill 2023. So we couldn't actually put the question, and I'm now putting the question for us to go through the second reading and refer it to the appropriate committee. So I'll second reading, then we go to consideration. So, members, I'll put the question. So all those in favor that motion listed 43, that is Chartered Institute of Restructuring and Insolvency Practitioners, Ghana Bill 2023, be now read the second time. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is taken.
An act to establish an Institute of Restructuring and Insolvency Practitioners, Ghana, to promote the state of insolvency, to train insolvency and provide for related matters.
Honourable members, the Chartered Institute of Restructuring and Insolvency Practitioners, Ghana Bill 2023 is accordingly read a second time. Honourable members, before we begin the debate, my boss has asked me to take motion 10. Motion 10 is just a petition, and we will then move to the debate. So I will invite Honourable Member for Nadoli Kalio, Honourable Anthony Suma, to bow.
Petition and DPI Met Forum of the Upper West Region that the Ministry of Education establish a special STEM school in the Upper West Region to demonstrate an equal concern for the STEM education of the people of the region. Your petitioners further recommend that, for a start, some senior high schools should be adopted and configured for the specialized teaching of STEM courses.
Very well. Honourable members, the petition has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Education for Consideration and report. Now we come to the debate, and we will start. Are we starting from the majority side?
Mr. Speaker, as indicated, the able Minister of Education, Honourable Dr. Educhu, is going to start the debate. Yes.
Very well.
For and on behalf of the majority, Mr. Speaker, he is ready with all his to let Mr. Speaker, he's going to
it's enough. It's enough.
Mr. Speaker, he also said that after the debate, the minister who is a member of parliament stay in the chamber for the rest of the day, so we are happy about that.
Very well. Honourable Member for Wosotre and Minister for Education, you may do as the honours to begin the debate. So, Honourable, you are a minister and you are entitled for 15 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for such a wonderful opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise this add my voice to the motion expressing appreciation to the President for his message on the state of the nation. Mr. Speaker, in education, the state nation is strong, as espoused and clearly articulated by the President. So much has happened at this ministry and in this country. Mr. Speaker, I was gladdened when I heard this morning that there's a petition asking for a STEM school. Mr. Speaker, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education has gained roots in this country under the able leadership of our President. STEM education, whether it's about building new schools, about retooling schools, is gaining steam in Ghana. It never used to be this way. You have young men and women who now have an opportunity to pursue a career pathway in aviation and aerospace. Mr. Speaker, go to a Fiakobi Ampem girls' school in Ashanti region, see young women building drones and deploying drones, having the drone fly and come back to land. Mr. Speaker, obviously this is a new Ghana. A new Ghana where we've been able to build STEM schools and not just that, train teachers and get the students to do more hands-on activities around the clock. Mr. Speaker, STEM education and its structure is being provided around the country. In communities, we have begun the construction of STEM junior high schools. A number of places, primary schools are being reached to provide quality education with the integration of ICT. 700 smart classrooms have been developed in various districts in Ghana as I speak. Mr. Speaker, the issue of education in this country is to enable us answer the three main tenets of education transformation: the issue of access, the issue of quality, and the issue of relevance of the education system. Mr. Speaker, in the area of secondary education, I think it's clear to all that free secondary education has been a great success. Yes, there may be challenges, but you can see from access, great things have been done. Mr. Speaker, this morning, let me highlight some great accomplishments in the free senior high school area. Mr. Speaker, it's with great joy that if you look at the enrollment of students in our secondary schools, if you look at the transition from junior high school to high school, something great in this country. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the top 6 regions in this country with high transition rate from junior high to high school, it's very heartwarming. Heartwarming to inform you, Mr. Speaker, that the northern region of Ghana has a 95% enrollment rate. That is, out of every 100 students who qualify to enroll in high school, 95 of them are in high school, I speak. Mr. Speaker, the Northeast has 94% transition rate. Out of every 100 students who qualify, Ministry of Education, and the data is there. Out of every 100 students who qualify to enroll in high school in the Savannah region, 94%, they are there right now as I speak. Northeast has 94%, Savannah has 94%, Upper East 92%, the lowest Upper West, and the 5 northern regions of Ghana have embraced the free secondary education program of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now the 6th region to talk about is Bono East. The top 5 regions are all in the... So it's heartwarming to know that our young men and women in the north, supported by their parents, supported by their teachers, have embraced Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo Free Senior High School, and it's such a great report. Now, an important aspect of free secondary education that sometimes overlooked is the fact that it has to break gender parity. You see, the inequity was very clear. Before free senior high school, out of every 100 boys that attended free senior high school, 68 girls attended. So before free secondary education, if you have 100 boys, 68 girls will be in high school. Today, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to announce that Ghana has attained gender parity in secondary education. Now, it's even so heartwarming to know that Upper East and Upper West, more girls are attending secondary school this year. You see the gap that used to be there. Now, the gap that used to be there, the gap that was occasioned by early marriage in our society.
Honorable members, please, you get the opportunity to also, please. Honorable members, I mean, you will not feel fine when you are speaking and somebody is just interjecting that way. Allow him to finish. Probably the first will come in, so you allow him to go on. Yes, please, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity, but it seems to me that people are not happy that 5 northern regions are topic. The source is the Ministry of Education Computer Placement System. We should applaud the northern regions of Ghana for a great job done. And that information, warehouse of record, and I'm here to provide you information as the Minister for Education. Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought we should all be jubilating that northern regions are doing well. Mr. Speaker, a sub-Saharan African country attaining gender parity is something we all have to celebrate. Yes. Gender parity in secondary education is not an easy accomplishment. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's free secondary education, which removed the cost barriers, have given opportunity to our parents to not decide between sending the girl or the boy to secondary school. Now today, girls are going to secondary school in equal numbers and even more than boys. Wow! Mr. Speaker, this is not a small feat. It is something all Ghanaians should be celebrating, that we have come afar. We have come from a place where 100 students, every 100 boys, there were only 68 girls. Now, we have more girls than boys, a great accomplishment. Mr. Speaker, invariably, we have people talking about free secondary education as if that is the only thing Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is doing. I'm happy to announce to the House that when it comes to basic school infrastructure development, there has been a massive investment. In Manso Abore, in Manso Adibia district, go to Manso Nkwan, go to Chamba in the northern region, to Antubam in Wasa area, Central, go to Nagode near Ninahini, go to Azza in Yellow Club, go to Jetokoi in the Volta region, Anaye, Kumewu, Oyoku near Kumewu. All these communities are seeing new infrastructure. Jetokoi is a place that when you look at the building that was there and what our government is developing, you want to clap for Nana Akufo-Addo. Our government knows what to do when it comes to education transformation. And we are going to continue to do it. If you look at what is being done in retooling science labs, you see some people wonder why students are doing so well. And invariably they will take a swipe and talk about the fact that we are doing well because the students are not going by the rules. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to announce that our government, during our 7 years, posted stellar academic results at the last level. But you see, once upon a time, there was another government. In their 7th year, that is 2015, English language had a pass rate of 45.2%. 2023, same subject, 73%. Mr. Speaker, go so many science labs In 2015, 28.7% students got A1 to C6 in integrated science. Mr. Speaker, in 2023, we have 66.82. Mr. Speaker, mathematics, 32%, and now 82%. Mr. Speaker, social studies, 57.4, now 76%. Mr. Speaker, there are others who say that Ghana is no longer part of the West Africa Examination Council. Mr. Speaker, I will implore them to just call WAEC and ask them if we are not. Now, if we are not part of the West Africa Examination Council in terms of WASI, how did it so happen that last year, out of the 3 students who topped West Africa, 2 of them were from Ghana, and the 2 came from St. James Senior High School in Sunyani. Mr. Speaker, 2023, the top 3 students in West Africa were all from Ghana. Mr. Speaker, it's heartwarming to know that St. James repeated the record again of getting 2 out of the 3. And then the third one is from Laboni Senior High School in Accra. Ghana is topping West Africa. And I believe that all Ghanaians should come together and celebrate our youth. I don't understand. When the youth does so well, instead of celebrating them, congratulating them, thanking the parents for the great investment they've made in their children, thanking the headmasters for great leadership, thanking my colleague teachers for a great job done, what denigrate their accomplishment. It's what I call slash and burn politics. This slash and burn politics should not find expression in this country. When our children do well, we celebrate them. It's something to be added to what they've done. If we need to improve what they have done, we should all come together and accept that there should be improvement. But when people talk about there's no space for improvement. Mr. Speaker, something's happening in Ghana. If you want to close your eyes with the good people of Ghana, will never close their eyes to what's happening. Community upon community. Homes where there were no people attending high school, now they are there. Now you begin to take a look at the percentage of students who are getting opportunity to pursue science. The numbers are increasing because when you go to Wesley Girls, 2 weeks ago, the president commissioned science labs to go. Not too long ago, I commissioned 6 science labs at St. Louis in Kumasi. We commissioned 3 science labs at Okuapimai. Across the length and breadth of this country, we are retooling science labs, we are equipping them. No wonder we are able to take an accomplishment of 28% and double it. 100% growth in science accomplishment is to the credit of all Ghanaians. And I think we ought to celebrate what we have been able to accomplish. It's not right for us to denigrate ourselves, for us to say to ourselves that even though we are not doing well, we are doing.
Honorable Minister, your term is almost up. Just wind up. Just wind up.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo go down in the history of this country as education president. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo remembered by the opportunity he created for all Ghanaians. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is the one who said, irrespective of where you come from the north or from the south, I'm creating opportunity for you to have access to secondary education. But Mr. Speaker, I'll conclude by saying that this morning I'm happy that the data is showing that the northern regions have embraced secondary education like none other. This is to the credit of all, but most importantly to the credit of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, he did exactly 16 minutes. So that to speak on our side.
Honorable Leader.
Yes, it is 16
Honorable Leader, I gave him extra 1 minute because there were some interruptions. I actually paused him. So please, 1 minute. I don't think it's in it. Anyway, we'll look at it. Don't worry. So we will call Honorable Minority. Should I call us the way you've presented? Very well. So we'll call Honorable Podo, member for Whole Central. Yes, Honorable Podo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At the commencement of the debate, Honorable Abena Ose, Minister of State Designate, stated clearly that she was feeling very fine that there's the IMF loan and that after the second review, we are going to get money from the IMF. I want to remind her that the IMF facility is not domestic revenue. It is not internally generated fund. It's a loan and we are going to pay it some. So she should not be celebrating. You should stop that attitude of celebrating loans with Kenke and Kami at the ministry. You should stop that. Please, the IMF facility is a loan and we have to pay it back. Mr. Speaker, I would like to refer to page 12 of the Sona. The President said on that page that I'm happy to inform you, Mr. Speaker, that we have made significant progress. I think he said the exact opposite of what the situation is. We have rather attained significant deterioration in our economy. And that's why the President didn't want to compare the present state with what it was before he came. In 2016, when he won the election, he did not want to compare the present state with 2017 early. Now, we should be looking at page 13 of the address and look at the macroeconomic figures. The indices which he quoted there are comparing 2022/2023 with the present state of affairs. But you took over in 2017. So I would like us to take a look back and see exactly what has happened. Mr. Speaker, when we were in school at the university, our lecturers were Mr. Jabuni and Dr. Jones Furiata, the late. What they taught us about certain macroeconomic indices are completely at variance with what is happening now. They taught us that when the debt to GDP ratio is high, then it is not good for the economy. They taught us that when inflation is high, then it is not good for the economy. They taught us that when interest rates are high, then it's not good for the economy. When prices are rising generally in the economy, it is still not good for the economy. But what are we seeing today? The present government came to meet the debt to GDP ratio at 57, but they have moved it to 104. Then, after some time, it came down to, after the debt exchange, came down to 92.4%. So they are just running the economy like a junior high school program, where the higher the mark, the performance. I think we should be serious. I'm saying that the present government is running our economy like a junior high school program, where the higher the marks, the better the performance. So they have taken debt to GDP ratio from 57 to 104 and down to 94, and they are celebrating. They have taken inflation from 18% to 54. And now that it has come down to 23, they are celebrating. Why? Are we in junior high school? They have taken interest rate from 18% to 32% currently, and they are celebrating. They say we should thank the president. We should applaud him. Yes, if we want to applaud, we will applaud him for getting high pass marks. A1, B plus, and so on and so forth. Mr. Speaker, they have taken the rate of the dollar, cedi to dollar, from 3 cedis 92 pesos as published by Bank of Ghana 17 to today 13 cedis, and they are happy that they have turned the corner. So all the macroeconomic indices are in the wrong direction. It is not something we should be joyous about and be celebrating. Cement was 25 cedis per bag. It went to 95. Now it has come down a little to 72 cedis per bag. Is that cause for celebrating, Mr. Speaker? I think that the government is in the wrong direction, and the state of affairs as we experience it today is nothing to write home about. Let's see VAT. VAT was at the rate of 12.5% when they took over. Even that, VAT payers had the option to get back what they have paid. But now we are paying 21% VAT, from 12.5% to 21%. I can add the figures up for you. Get fund levy 2.5, NHIL 2.5, that is 5. VAT itself 15, and COVID levy 1%, that makes 21%. But you know something very interesting, the way the taxes are computed, you first compute the NHI levy, the VAT, the National Health Insurance levy, the Get Fund levy, the COVID levy, before you apply 15% VAT. So when you work it out, I had a bill from my security company. When I worked it out, it came to 22.4%, which we are slapping on the value of the service that they are providing me. Mr. Speaker, there's another serious thing. We think that the statutory institutions which we have established to perform specific functions, we collect the money from them, and then we keep the money at the Ministry of Finance and spend on things like flying in the air, things like what do you call it, digging the deepest hole on earth, called National Cathedral. When we collect the money, instead of giving it to the statutory bodies, we use the monies to do these things which are of value to the economy. Mr. Speaker, in 2014, President Mahama's government released 370 million arrears to clear Get Fund, DACF, and National Health Insurance levy. So there was no arrears. But when we came in 2014, there was just a very amount left to be paid to DACF. But moved it from that figure to 4.8 billion Ghana cedis. That is what we are owing this Assembly's Common Fund. And that fund is held up. They cannot send the monies to the assemblies. And so they go to the offices, sit down, and do nothing. They are just looking up the day that some money will come from the assemblies, from this assembly's common fund, so that they can work. Mr. Speaker, in the same way, get fund money has been collateralized, and whatever they get now just goes to pay debt. They are no longer functioning. I was watching a TV advert where a Nigerian a commentator said that our leaders plan to chop the money now and chop future monies too, because they know that tomorrow they are going away. This is exactly what is happening in this country. So we are borrowing against our revenues for the future. In the like manner, we want to take mineral royalties and consign it to a group of people under what we call a Japa, so that the nation will not have access to this money. At the last meeting with MIF, we saw that they were keeping 5.3 billion Ghana cedis for a Japa to take off. Meanwhile, we are going about money from the from the treasury market, and then borrowing money from abroad to run the economy. Where is that money? What is that money being held in the bank account for? They are supposed to release it so that we can use it to help our fiscal deficit. Now, Mr. Speaker, we do not have a good trajectory for our macroeconomic finances. We are in real trouble. We have hit the
Honorable.
Yes, in concluding,
Your time is up.
In concluding, Mr. Speaker, I want to state that they have driven our macroeconomy into the ditch, and the earlier they prepare to hand over, the better for them. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Kwamebuja, did you that have added it?
Mr. Speaker, you are always fair. So you gave him that. I'm also happy to announce that the Education Minister is still around for now. Still around.
Thank you very much. Before I call the next contributor, let me again introduce at the public gallery another set of school. This time they came all the way from Kumasi. That is Holy Trinity Lutheran School. Holy Trinity Lutheran School. They are being led by Madam Vivian Boateng, who is the manager of the school, and the school is located at Inshiaso constituency. Inshiaso constituency. Where is the member of parliament? I saw him this morning. Yes. Yes. The school is located at Kwadaso Estate. I know the school very well. So you are welcome. And let me again, I earlier on introduced Bayes Junior High School, and the number was 188. And my information is that the first batch came, and this is the section. You could see the second batch is school from Tema East, and the member of parliament is here. So, Nevis Junior High School, you are welcome. Are we having another batch of students? Anyway, to have students coming to witness what goes on here, at least is a good incentive for them to study hard, so that tomorrow they can also be here. So you are all welcome. Again, let me also make this correction. The member for Kaleo made a petition, Honorable Anthony Suma, and I made a referral to Education Committee. My attention has been drawn to the fact that, based on standing orders, we have a separate committee dedicated to petitions. So when the committee is set up, this referral will be redirected to the committee on petitions. So I'll urge leadership to expedite the process of setting the committees in place so that this referral can easily be made their way to. So that is the correction I've made. There is no more going to Committee on Education. It is going to Committee on Petitions. Very well. So I'll call the second person from the majority. And the second person is Honorable Dr. Isaac Opoku, a member for Offenso South. Honorable member, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute the motion on the floor that the Honorable House thanks His Excellency the President for the message on the State of the Nation address. Mr. Speaker, I think my colleagues on the other side will join me in thanking His Excellency for how hard the President has worked to bring this country this far. Speaker, we do not want a President who in breath will be preaching 24-hour economy, wanting everybody to work around the clock, yet the same person will be asking for a 24-hour honeymoon. Speaker, is it not surprising that any initiative, any policy, any program initiated by the New Patriotic Party, our friends on the other side would want to claim credit for that? Speaker, President John Ajekum Kufuor introduced the National Health Insurance, and what we heard from our friends on the other side is that they introduced it. Sit down. Speaker, His Excellency the Vice President, he introduced digitalization, and our friends on the other side said they introduced it. Speaker, Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo introduced 1D, 1F, and they said they introduced it, and they even cited the Commander Sugar Factory as their baby. Speaker, this guy introduced planting for food and jobs, and they said it is their baby, and that we have renamed it. Mr. Speaker, even the free senior high school, they said they introduced it. Speaker, but they have other initiatives, and we wouldn't claim credit for that. Dumso is their baby, and they should stick to the Dumso. Mr. Speaker, yesterday I heard my friend Honorable Eric Opoku talking about the collapse in the cocoa sector. Speaker, again, he mentioned that the NDC introduced cocoa pension scheme, and he sought to create the impression that the NDC set aside 29 million Ghana cedis as cocoa pension scheme. Mr. Speaker, I chanced upon a document, Cocoa House, and Mr. Speaker, the
Cocoa Pension Fund was set up by the former president, His Excellency John Evans Atamels, in 2010-2011. Mr. Speaker, in 2010-2011, 26.4 million Ghana was set aside. Then, in 2014-2015, additional 2.4 million cedis was also set aside. But, Mr. Speaker, these funds only in the ledger books. There is no evidence. There is no evidence whatsoever about the corresponding cash investment set aside to back the ledger provision. So, Speaker, this money was never invested. So, if Mr. Eric Opoku is aware, where that money was invested, you should let this House know. Mr. Speaker, this money that he was talking about was in 2010-2011. If indeed the money was invested, he should tell us. It's in Commercial Bank, NIB, whichever, he should tell us. If the money was invested, we shouldn't have taken about 29 million today. The interest alone would have been quite substantial. So, Mr. Speaker, the money was only in the ledger books. It never set aside. No money was invested anywhere. You can go to Cocoa Board and check. Mr. Speaker, when the President mentioned producer price, the Speaker, on page 22 of the State of the Nation address, Mr. Speaker, and with your kind permission, I read. Mr. Speaker, we all witnessed the circular increment of the cocoa price from 800 cedis per bag to 1,300 cedis per bag in the current cocoa season, the highest increase in 50 years. With the current trend of world cocoa price, cocoa farmers can be sure that I will do right by them in the next cocoa season. Again, Mr. Speaker, when this announcement was made, our friends on the other side were so jittery. Mr. Speaker, they were so jittery because in 2016-2017, the producer price of cocoa for a ton of cocoa was 7,600 Ghana cedis only. A ton of cocoa comprising 16 bags of cocoa. It was only 7,600 Ghana cedis. Speaker, as we speak now, a bag of cocoa is 20,928. As they said, this increment is the highest in 50 years. And Mr. Speaker, officially, this price is the highest in the whole sub-region, the whole of West Africa. This cocoa price is the highest. Mr. Speaker, again, the government has been so transparent with our cocoa farmers. Now there is a price mechanism in place. In the past, Mr. Speaker, the producer price was based on the net FOB. Today is so transparent, it is based gross FOB. That is why our farmers are receiving 20,928,000. And they should wait. The next season, when the new cocoa price is announced, I'm sure they would have to find a helmet, to protect their heads. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, Honorable Eric Opoku, was talking about the decline in cocoa production. Mr. Speaker, he was talking about the decline in cocoa production, and I could understand him, because, Mr. Speaker, the NDC government has never introduced any productive enhancement program. Never. They have never. Mr. Speaker, they should tell us whether it is the mass spraying program they introduced. Mr. Speaker, they should tell us whether it is the high-tech program they introduced. Mr. Speaker, they should tell us whether it is the mass spraying that they introduced. Mr. Speaker, they should tell us whether it is the hand pollination that they introduced. Mr. Speaker, they should tell us whether it is the electronic scheme that they introduced.
Is that what we are talking about?
Mr. Speaker, I admit that Cocoa Board may not be able to achieve the set targets in terms of cocoa production, I admit. But Mr. Speaker, it is no fault of any. Mr. Speaker, one of the factors which is responsible for decline in cocoa production is the cocoa swollen shoot virus. And Mr. Speaker, it will shock you to hear that during their era, 2014, 2015, and 2016, they never attempted to control the swollen shoot virus disease on cocoa farms. Never. Not even one tree was controlled. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, now cocoa area is about 2 million hectares and about 560,000 hectares have been infected.
Honourable member, begin to descend for landing.
Mr. Speaker, this government has so far treated 62,000 hectares, and I wouldn't be surprised in the unlikely event that they win power, they will begin to claim credit that they treated the cocoa farms. Mr. Speaker, again, they were talking about Cocoa Board loss.
Honourable member, your term is up, and I thank you for your contribution. Members, I am not going to allow body. I wouldn't. I want the debate to flow. Please, just get where I am coming from. I want the debate to flow. I want Ghanaian to follow what is going on here. The interjections are too much, and I'm not going to entertain that. So as much as I didn't allow anybody to interject, Honorable Opoku, the same manner I'm not going to also allow anybody to interject anybody. Irrespective of, you mention your name, is not in any derogatory manner. Please just allow me to manage the house. I'm saying I'm not going to allow any interjections. Very well. Yes, leader.
Speaker, you are very right that we should allow colleagues to flow when they are doing their debate. Yes. Speaker, when a colleague pulls up a document and reads out something which is contrary to, for instance, an information in the public account document, and mention a colleague's name, that becomes very difficult to let go. So, Mr. Speaker, then colleagues should be guided that you should not mention names. You can make reference to your document, but not link it to any individual. Because otherwise, it looks like as if Honorable Opoku actually peddled and truth. See what the document is holding is public account document.
Well. So members should take cue from what Honorable was just coming up with. Please don't invite unnecessary heckling. So if you go on by mentioning people's name and those kind of things, then...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to...
Honorable, have I called you?
Oh, I told you.
No, I haven't. So, I will now invite Honorable Mutala, member for Temali Central. Please, no interjections. Honorable, you have 10 minutes.
How many minutes?
10 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to the debate. But before I proceed, for the sake of students who were seated here and perhaps those watching us at home. It's not nothing, it is nothing. It is not crass, it is class. Because those phonetics matter so much. I attended a Sato school when I didn't enjoy free education. More so when such a statement is made by someone who leads education. That explains why we are in that unacceptable state as far as our education is concerned. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency the President appeared before
Honorable.
No interjection, Mr. Speaker. You just said no interjection.
No, I'm not interjecting.
So can I proceed?
It appears it's a personal attack. I mean, let respect ourselves. I mean,
Mr. Speaker, I guess I didn't mention any name. Perhaps it's the case of who the cap fits.
Once you go on with insinuations, people will know where you are.
Mr. Speaker,
let's try to cut out some of these
His Excellency the President appeared before this House in fulfillment of Article 67 of the 1992 Constitution. I am not a lawyer, but I have taken a glance of that constitutional provision. The President is supposed to tell us the true state of Ghana. And thereby, telling us the true state of Ghana is to help citizens, institutions, and organizations plan very well. There was that moral responsibility and a duty of the President to tell us nothing except the truth. Unfortunately, the President got threatened by the word truth and chartered a path that, with all sincerity, was absolutely disappointing. Mr. Speaker, the President decided not to mention two very important words. It is the belief and the concern of every government to improve the living conditions of your people. Any policy formulated by any government and then implemented is geared towards improving the living conditions of the people. Unfortunately, our President didn't see the need to talk about those important words. One, joblessness, unemployment. Unemployment in this country, and as expected by the President. And before that, let me state, as a young man, I watched on TV when His Excellency former President Rawlings presented his last State of the Nation's address. And whatever he said on that day encapsulated all the 8 years or the 4 years he had been the president, his second term. When President Kufuor presented his last nation's address, a State of the Nation's address, said things that captured everything he did, then list the people of this. And in fact, President Mahama, in 2016, I had the opportunity to be sitting here as a member of Parliament. Whatever he said in his last Sona captured everything he did, even though he was contesting the elections. Unfortunately, we didn't seem to see that from this president. Understand why he didn't? Because he certainly could not have touched on the things when he proved to be absolutely inefficient, grossly incompetent, and as a matter of fact, has taken the level of corruption in this country that is justified to be condemned by all, including the CDD and Afrobarometer reports. The President didn't talk about unemployment. In 2016, by the Statistical Service, a state independent institution whose job and responsibility is to tell us the data as to how we perform as a state, unemployment was 0.8. This crass, gross, incompetent president and his vice, by the way, I would come to that attempt of trying to insulate him from the mess. They took it from 6.8%. As at the time the president was standing there talking, unemployment is 14.7%. Shockingly, without any surprise, the vice president, in meeting the campaign team of this government, this party, stated that they have performed better than the NDC, when he knows too well, in the heart of his heart, that they took unemployment from 6.8 to 14.7%. The president didn't see the need to mention one word, and that word is corruption. Last year's Sona debate, I stood on this floor, and I said that if you juxtapose the Sona Sona, which was presented in 2017 by President Nanado, every single paragraph of that Sona, and I challenge our colleagues to go and read every single paragraph, he found it necessary in corruption and the steps he was going to take to fight corruption. As the years gone by, he started moving away from the word corruption. And last year, Sona, corruption was mentioned once. And I predicted on the day he presented the State of the Nation's address that he wasn't going to the word corruption. And true to my prediction, corruption was never mentioned. A government that claimed that this is looking very good. They took debt to GDP, a little over 60%. It is moving around us. They took cedi to the dollar, which was less than 4 cedis. Today it is 13 cedis. At the time the president presented Sona, the dollar to the cedi was 13 cedis. As a matter of fact, they took inflation 15% today. Inflation is around 23 and going. By the way, it even went to 40 something and came back. They took this country. Everything that affects this country and affects the continent of Africa is corruption. The lowest president formed, the lowest in corruption perception index was 43%. That is what this incompetent president and his goon of appointees are celebrating. The lowest of President Mahama is what they are celebrating today. The highest we ever chalked under the Fourth Republic was called by President Mahama when he got 48%. This government is celebrating 43%. And in fact, 2017, they took it to 41%. That is the level. The city in the Afro Barometer described this government as the most corrupt ever in the history of this country. In fact, Professor Jumobedu, my professor, who happened to be a very good friend of this president, when they asked him about President Nanado's fight of corruption, he said, it is inter-test. I don't think that Professor Jumobedu has anything to do. If he has, it will be NPP. Because Nanado had been his long-standing friend for decades. So this government certainly could not have mentioned corruption, because corruption is so threatening too. Now, I realize there was a subtle attempt to insulate Dr. Bawumia from the mess that we are experiencing. I want to state, and I state this with all the seriousness, no amount of perfume from Arabia, in fact, oud perfume, that is the most powerful perfume in the world you can think of. No amount of oud perfume from Arabia can be used to cleanse Dr. Bawumia of the mess, the corruption, the crass incompetence that the people of this country have been subjected to. So that attempt will what? The president stood, and interestingly, the last contributor said that he digitalized the economy. I want to find out one thing this president and this vice president have done on the matter of digitalization. It was President Mahama who induced work on the 800-kilometer fiber optic backbone that occasioned the ability for me to sit in my village in Jam, and I can have an interview with a media house Zoom. 800 kilometers. The Accra Digital Center was done by President Mahama. As the so-called paperlessness, and I think that this message should be sent to my brother, Dr. Bawumia. The paperlessness. This government has done absolutely nothing. Mr. Speaker, I was the Deputy Minister for Trade. We worked on the International Trade Facilitation Bill. I championed it. I had the privileged opportunity to move the motion in this house. And in fact, we set up a committee at the ministry. And my minister asked me to take charge. The former Deputy Minister for Trade, Honorable Carlos Ahinkra, represented the freight forwarders. And when we worked on it, I led a delegation to Nigeria. We introduced the paperlessness and brought in West Blue, Minister of Trade, and brought in. We had put on all the agencies on that data except one, Horsepower. Dr. Bawumia looked into our miserable faces within 4 months and said that he provided the paperlessness. And I challenge him, and I'll challenge him here. Tell us one single thing you have done on the matter of the paperlessness. But you see, my senior brother behaves like a child who is at his operational stage of growth. This is a psychological term. No, I'm saying he behaves like a child who is at that stage of growth. When he sees any woman wearing the clothes that looks like that of the mother, the child will be crying and saying that that cloth belongs to the mother. That is how our brothers and my senior brother behave.
So on that note,
I'm concluding.
On that note,
Speaker, I am concluding. Mr. Speaker,
Please, your time
Mr.
is
Speaker,
up.
the State of the Nation's address should encapsulate what happens in that state, as projected by the framers of the Constitution. In this House, a week before the President presented the State of the Nation's address, a colleague asked a question on the murder of Ahmed Swade. The Minister for Justice told us that the document was presented. I was expecting the President to speak on Ahmed Swade's murder. I was expecting the President to speak on LGBT.
Thank you very much
I want to know
for your
the position.
contribution. Let me now go to Honorable Professor Slinyako. You have the floor. You have 10 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to add my voice to motion number 13 on page 7 of today's order paper, that this honorable House thanks His Excellency the President for the message on the state of the nation which he delivered to Parliament on Tuesday, 27th February 2024. Honorable Speaker, I heard my honorable friend, Honorable Murtala Mohammed, in silence, and a statement that the President peddled untruth when he delivered the message of the state of the nation to us. But he couldn't mention a single untruth that the President peddled to us. He couldn't. You see, but you said that the debt to GDP ratio as we speak now is 90%. That is not true. Ask in the film report, he will tell you that you are wrong. You said that. Ask Amabo Adongo, he will tell you that what you said was rather untrue. And he also talked about unemployment. It is true that we are facing unemployment issues in this country. But it is also not true that this government has done nothing to addressing the unemployment challenge in this country. Honorable Speaker, between 2017 and 2022, it is on record that this government produced about 2.1 million jobs, excluding Joanna the plantain for food and jobs. It's on record. Honorable Speaker, government sector alone, we were able to produce 1.2 million jobs. At the private sector, 975,000. And you can check this from SNIT records. Honorable Speaker, you know, it is also strange, worrying, troubling, and disappointing to suggest that the President can use 2 hours to tell us everything in this country. It's not possible. The President even said to us that if he were to espouse the record of his government, 24 hours cannot even contain that. So he cannot say everything, but he told us the state of affairs of this economy. Honorable Speaker, we all here heard the budget statement to us, and if you look at the budget, you can see that job creation efforts had been captured under the Youth Start program. The government is planning to create jobs for the youth. It is in the budget. So when you tell us that the government, that the President didn't tell us anything about jobs, I'm telling you that Rosin Horapo, go and print your budget. You see that this government is creating jobs under the 2024 budget. That is a fact. Honorable Speaker, Our debt has not been static over the years. Our debt has not been static over the years. They've been varying almost every year. In 2009, our debt to GDP ratio was 24%. When NDC led power in 2017, it had ballooned to 57%. And it's true, Honorable Podo said that, it is true. But, Madam Speaker, by the end of 2019, it had increased to only 62.5%. It was COVID. And the expense and the dwindling revenues that shot our debt to GDP ratio to over 80%. But as we speak, through prudent measures, through prudent interventions, our debt to GDP ratio has reduced to about 68%. But you took it from 4% to 56%. Look at the margin. In the midst of difficulties that the global world is experiencing, Madam Speaker, this government has managed the economy very well, and they know that the government has done well. Madam Speaker, all that the president captured in his statement are true. He told us that our country has been stable and peaceful, that this government has been able to protect our territories. And he said that looking at our neighboring countries, they are going through so many problems, terrorist attacks, military intervention, but our country is peaceful, is secure. That is true. He also talked about the conflict in Baku and how we have to collectively ensure that that conflict is addressed. That is true. He told us that we have automobile assembling interventions in this country, plants in this country. He mentioned 12 of them that design, assemble, they have a plant here to assemble. He talked about Honda, Hyundai, and the rest. These are true that he told us. He told us, as my able education minister said, the interventions in the education sector, Honorable Speaker, under TVET alone, we've seen exponential increase in enrollment under TVET. It cannot be contested. Honorable Speaker, in 2020, enrollment at the TVET level was about 24,000. 2022, it moved to about 47,000. As we speak, 2023, enrollment at the TVET institutions increased to 51%. 51,000 rather. Honorable Speaker, so on all fronts, sector by sector, this government has proven that it is best and second to none. And Honorable Abuja, they are aware about that. Honorable Speaker, the President also talked about how to ensure that we will get food sufficiency and security. Our court system, how the court system has been digitalized. And these are records that are there for us to see. Honorable Speaker, the number of courts that have been built under this administration is unprecedented. And that is a fact. That's a fact. You come to my constituency, you see, courts have been built there. Honorable Speaker, under industry, he talked about 1D, 1F intervention. This guy has been able to establish 321 factories in this country. And he said that 211 of them are greenfields and 110 of them have been revamped. Well, Speaker, since 1957 to now, I've never seen or heard that a single government has been able to establish 321 factories. It has never done. It's never done. And he did say, he told us that it has created about 170,000 jobs. Under NDC, my friends, tell me a single intervention that you introduced. In each sector, nothing. You couldn't create jobs. When Honorable Washi Pepo was interviewed when he was on Joint News File. I watched him on that and was asked about job creation. What did he say? He said that you should go and cut grasses and hew stones. That is how you were bent on creating jobs. Honorable Adongo, tell me the jobs you created. Quantify them for us to hear. I didn't ask you to stand. This is a rhetorical question. I want to put on record that I know Akufo-Addo, posterity will judge him so well. I'm sure he will go into history as one of the best presidents this country has ever produced. He's done so well. And we are convinced that his record vis-a-vis the record of John Mahama will be like the distance between heaven and hell. It's so huge, so wide. Honorable Speaker, I want to plead with our colleagues that they should give us credit. Please, give credit where it is due. Give us the credits. The hospitals we built. And Akufo-Addo told us that the La Garan Hospital,
Honorable Professor Nyako,
is there.
please kindly be silent for London.
And Ghana. Well, Speaker, on that note,
Well.
may God bless you. May you live long. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable members, before I'll go on to the next speaker. Let me again introduce another batch of school. This time from Ishi Jordan Methodist Basic School. Ishi Jordan Methodist Basic School. And they are being led by Madam Faustinana Lamle Macken, who is the head teacher, and the school is located in the Lejokuku constituency. Do you have the member of parliament here? Okay, Honorable, is it Ayiku? Yes, Honorable Ayiku. You have 120 students or pupils who have made it to the public gallery to witness what is going on. I believe you are studying what is going on here, and that will be a motivation to you to study hard, so that one day you also the footsteps of your father, uncles, and aunts who are here. You are welcome, and I wish you well. So you may resume your seat now. So I will, at this juncture, call Honorable Isaac Adongo. Honorable Isaac Adongo to take the floor. Honorable Adongo, you are a ranking member. Yes.
Speaker, I want to remind my friend that we have some understanding. Honorable Adongo should stick to the facts.
Mr. Speaker, our colleague from Ofinso, a few minutes ago, and I drew your attention to some of the things he said about Honorable Erikopoku, which were factually incorrect.
Yes.
But you did not even allow anybody to speak.
Yes.
I wish my colleague was in the house to take that advice from you.
Yes.
So Adongo will speak and speak the truth.
I'll stick to the principle that I'm not going to entertain any interjections. So, Honorable Isaac Adongo, you have the floor now. You have 15 minutes as a ranking member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, people who are led the truth do not need to be in this chamber because they may get heart attack. Mr. Speaker, when I listened to the president, I got very worried because the state of the nation, the most important part of the state of a nation, is the economy. And the president was running away from the economy. A few days ago, the vice president also appeared at UPSA and into a vision without talking about the economy. Mr. Speaker, if we don't survive, can we live for tomorrow? But Mr. Speaker, if you look at the aspect of the economy, it is just one page. And even that one page, it is nothing but news that never come from a president. The president indicated that there was unprecedented large number of bondholders who the government said we cannot pay you. And those people agreed to take a haircut of 60 billion, and that is good news. Mr. Speaker, the president says that for the first time in almost a year, they managed to pay coupons, and that we should celebrate a government being able to pay coupons. Mr. Speaker, we went to school. We were told that when government borrows, it is risk-free. Paying your debt is just a matter of course. So how can that be good news? That a government now celebrates ability to pay coupons. Mr. Speaker, the center cannot hold. But Mr. Speaker, some years ago, we were presented with a man that we were told is the economic wastegate. Mr. Speaker, we were presented with a man that we were told he was the one with the magic wand. Mr. Speaker, today that man is not being described in terms of economics. He is now being described as the doctor of digitalization. Mr. Speaker, this man, we were told that when the lecturers in economics taught him in school, they all died and they didn't teach anybody again. So all the knowledge in economics is in that head called Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Mr. Speaker, even that man that you said was the best in economics, he came to us and said, even though I know economics, I need 6 strong men in economics to help me. So we recruited Dr. George Gideon Buako as a technical economic advisor to advise the best economists in the world. We pay him. We recruited Professor Joe Amuakutufo in his office to assist the best brain in economics as a technical advisor. We recruited Mr. Everon Rothschild Hughes to assist the best brain in economics as a technical advisor in economics. Dr. Kabiru Mahama, a technical on economics to advise an economist. Mr. Speaker, Dr. Mutaka Alolo, a technical economics advisor to advise the best economists. And then Dr. Samuel Frimpong, 6 strong men. The so-called best brain in economics to manage the economy. Mr. Speaker, this man mismanaged the economy, crashed the economy, and ran away to go and hide in Yahoo doing digitalization. Mr. Speaker, it is akin to appointing a scientist to be the headmaster of a science school. The science headmaster tells you that I need 6 people who are good in science to come and teach my students. You recruit those people and send to the science. The students come to write the exams and they fail. When you go to ask the students are failing, you go and stand by the window and these science teachers are teaching history, geography and literature. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, you don't even have one technical advisor in digitalization in your office. And yet, you yourself don't know digitalization. So how did you metamorphose from the best economist with all these technical advisors to be teaching history, geography and literature as a science teacher? Mr. Speaker, when you go to court and you see Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh dressed in robes and say a lawyer, will you hire him? Will you? Mr. Speaker, this man has damaged our country. No, today when they came here, they were not talking primary balance, because primary balance is there. Primary balance is about your ability to raise revenue to pay all expenditures, and then look at whether some will be left to pay your interest. And for you, you don't even pay, you can't pay. So we don't discuss primary balance. Debt to GDP, we have stopped discussing because we have killed the debt. The debt now is under surgical operation in IMF, OCC, over the place, and they are looking for ways and means to give people haircut abroad. Mr. Speaker, this economic wizard destroyed our country and saddled us with a cost of 62 billion that we need to fix this mess. No wonder he doesn't talk about economics again, but we will force him to discuss the economy. Mr. Speaker, the cost of fixing the mess of Baomia's management is that we are spending $3 billion from the IMF to fix this mess. So far, 1.2 billion of it has come. And the man going to IMF is incompetent, shamelessly collected it, and he's celebrating. Mr. Speaker, the World Bank is giving us 1.5 billion to help fix the mess of Dr. Baumia. Mr. Speaker, to make debt exchange, our pensioners and poor women in the market, that they took their money and gave them haircut, are contributing 60 billion Ghana cedis, $6 billion to fix the mess of Dr. Baumia. Mr. Speaker, international creditors, our friends, Germany, all those countries that used to help us. Commercial creditors, Eurobond holders that we went and collected their money and we thought it was free, and we came here and were celebrating with kenke and fish. They are all contributing $10.5 billion. It is in the IMF document. Go and read it.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the Bank of Ghana printed $8 billion, 18 billion Ghana cedis to help fix Baomia's mess. It is in their audited accounts. Mr. Speaker, the taxes they brought here, all the tax they brought for additional revenue will cost the taxpayer over $33 billion, bringing the cost of Dr. Baomia's economic mess to $62 billion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, should this man be anywhere near the presidency? No. Mr. Speaker, this man can fund our budget for 3.5 years. And we are spending money. Mr. Speaker, this excludes the people the contractors who have done, whilst we have not paid them and they're waiting for their money. Mr. Speaker, this excludes 850,000 Ghanaians that the World Bank says Baumia has put them below the poverty line. Mr. Speaker, this excludes a third of employed people in Ghana who are holding vulnerable jobs because they are not too sure of the job the next day. Mr. Speaker, this excludes 20% of the good constitute the youth of our country and our future who are at the moment don't even have jobs. Mr. Speaker, Dr. Baumia is the biggest threat to the economy of our country and to the development and collective future of our people. Mr. Speaker, this so-called digitalization is a roof. Mr. Speaker, when you digitalize, there is a way we measure the impact of digitalization. We measure when you undertake digitalization, you eliminate human intervention, you reduce corruption, and you show efficiency in service delivery. Mr. Speaker, if you want to know where digitalization has sent us, look at the Corruption Perception Index. Mr. Speaker, the Corruption Perception Index is not the political corruption that my brother Mutala referred to. It is not as PDS. It is not the corruption that we refer to that some minister is allegedly stocking money in her house. That is not the type of corruption. The type of corruption CPI, Corruption Perception Index, refers to is the bribe that you and I pay to access passports. Is the bribe you pay to file your taxes. Is the bribe that you pay in order to clear your goods at the port. And what they do is that they interview business executives that operate across several countries. So they go to Unilever, for instance, and ask the Unilever chief executive, Please, in which of the countries do you pay a lot of bribe to clear your goods at the port? Then Unilever will say Ghana. Then you say, for instance, they go to Guinness, and Guinness says, we operate in all the countries. What is happening in Ghana, we haven't seen some before. We pay bribes. Said that, Mr. Speaker, Bawumia claims that when John Mahama was the president, Ghana had not been digitalized and we're using manual rudimentary system. Meanwhile, John Mahama's best score on the Corruption Perception Index, which measures the impact of digitalization, was 43. The West, 43. After 7 years, Bawumia's best record digitalizing is 43. So how can you digitalize and your best performance is John Mahama's worst performance after 7 years? Mr. Speaker, your worst was 41. John Mahama's best was 40. If we gave you another 20 years, you will not catch up with John Mahama. So where is the digitalization? You know what is happening? Because Dr. Mahama has failed with the economy, and he has turned a science student who is teaching history. He is putting it on the ground. So when I hear school feeding program, they are trying to bring some. Then Bawumia will call them, hey, when you are launching it, call me. Then when he goes there, he will find a Hudio name for it. Mr. Speaker, what we call enterprise resource planner, simple accounting software. Me, as an accountant, use them for over 40 years. We never call them digitalization. Go to Guinness, they use it. They don't call it digitalization. When Bawumia alone implements enterprise resource planner at Ghana school feeding, he will go and stand there and say, we have digital feeding program. If you feed them with beans, we will know. If you feed them with gari, we will know. What digitalization? Mr. Speaker, the truth of the matter is that enterprise resource plan has a module for payables so that you know the school feeding caterers, how much you owe them and for how long. The aging of the debt is there. Mr. Speaker, there is a model that you press to pay. They call it the payment model. How come Bawumia digitalized but didn't see the payment model to pay the 340 million school the caterers? Mr. Speaker, I want Bawumia to know that when we were in this country, when we were transforming the system in this country, he was busy looking for certificates in London and Canada. Mr. Speaker, many years ago in Ghana, before you actually call somebody, you had to call them into a fixed line in his house. And I know Dr. Bawumia, when he was a student, anytime he wanted to talk to Alhaji Bawumia, his father, he would have to wait for him to be in the house so that he would call the landline for the father to pick. It took John Dramani Mahama and Honorable Spiodabra as ministers of communication to transform our telecom sector into mobile telephony. This one, now Bawumia. Mr. Speaker, the first time it was being advertised Abitel, it took Anthony Yabwa Yegola to take the phone and say that wafa Mijina Bontina Mikasayo. At that time, Bawumia was busy looking for certificates. So how will we know where we came from? How will we know he know where we came from? Mr. Speaker, it took Honorable Haruna Idrisu as the Minister for Communication. Mr. Speaker, it took Honorable Dr. Omani Buama as the Minister for Communication to further scale up education and reduce the cost of voice and data in our country. Every telecom company was building masts everywhere, and they were expensive, and they were now affecting the cost of voice and data. Honorable Haruna said, no, you can't all be building sites. If one person builds a site at Kokomlemle, the rest of you should go and rent on that tower and be tenants and pay rent to the one who built.
Honorable Adongo, your time is almost up.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to indicate that as the NDC is getting ready to fix Dr. Bawumia's mess, He should understand that it is time for him to learn to understand the policies of the NDC. We are not only bringing 24-hour economy, we have series of policy interventions that are carefully thought out and crafted to show him better digitalization and improve the economy of our country. Mr. Speaker, we will not only create 24-hour economy, but we will make sure that we will run a trade shift to fix its mess. Mr. Speaker, make decent jobs.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker,
Very well. We will go for the last round, and I'll call on Honorable Dr. Kwakwefiye, a member for Serivioso, to take the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Honorable, you have 10 minutes, unfortunately.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. And also let me join the House in thanking the President for fulfilling his constitutional mandate in delivering the State of the Nation address. But I thought that the President went beyond constitutionalism, but to deliver a very honest, appraisal of what has happened over the past year. So, Speaker, first of all, I will want to dwell in areas that Abu Atongo maybe is even more vexing. First of all, economy, security, and then the judiciary. But I will take the security aspect first. Mr. Speaker, you will recall that the President in the Sona dwelled a lot on security. In these days of the world, security is very, very important, especially in our region where there are conflicts, jihadis, whatnot in the neighborhood. Ghana unity state government led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has done very well indeed in securing Ghana as a political and a social entity. Mr. Speaker, he has put in structures which has made sure that we have never had any serious breach of our security. Mr. Speaker, when you come from security, the best thing that makes sure that there is harmony in the country is justice. And in this sense, the President so much. In fact, in the Western North where I come from, the President has made sure that the judiciary infrastructure is. You can talk about places like Sevibodi, you can talk about Sevi-SM, where I have personally witnessed judicial infrastructure being put up, courthouses and whatnot. In fact, regional courthouse for the Western North in my constituency, Sevi also, is over 80% completed. Mr. Speaker, but let me also go to the economy. And here, I want to remind Ghanaians that COVID wrought a lot of devastation on our economy. You may laugh the way you want, because in 2019, Ghana was being said as some of the best countries as far as its economy is concerned. And then come 2020, there was an abrupt reversal. Mr. Speaker, I want to remind everybody that USA, a country of some 320 million people, they lost 1.2 million of their citizens directly to COVID. And do you know how many Ghanaians we lost to COVID? We lost exactly at the time the President declared it was over. We had lost 1,546 of our citizens. Mr. Speaker, if you do a little arithmetic, you will see that a country which is for 320 million, and incidentally Ghana is 32 million. So by all accounts, we should have lost a tenth. Ghana's population is a tenth of the USA's population. So we should have lost about 120,000 of our citizens. And don't tell me because we lived in the tropics. Go and check the mortality for Ecuador. Go and check the mortality for Southern India. The mortality unfortunately in our neighborhood, there were no comparative figures because Ghana has some of the best public health systems anywhere in the world. And that is why I proclaim on this floor that President Nana Akufo-Addo should be honored as the public health physician extraordinaire during the COVID era. Mr. Speaker, I will want to quote Nana's famous quote. And here, because I'm a student of Latin, I have even translated it into Latin. It says, Scimus economiam reducere ad vita. Est quidmus est dedicare mortus. And what it means is that we know how to bring the economy back to life. But what we do not know is to how to bring dead people back to life. Mr. President, Mr. Speaker,
how do we know what he says is true? Since it's not
I have translated the Latin. When I was doing Latin and organizations, were you with me? Please, if you don't know Latin, Estruje Domine Ejudica Concertuam. Do you understand it? Please sit down.
He wasn't born. He wasn't born.
Not to know what happened before one was born is always to be a child. Please sit down. Mr. Speaker, what I want to say, if in a kind language, I say, yari a book or say, mani tiru a kakwa debia, and kono de on trasimpo, which to wit, the disease or the affliction which affected the vulture, if I afflicted the crow cry will not be alive. So what I'm saying is that people do not know what Nana do by leading the charge against COVID, what he has done. And so the economic problems is what he, as Prophet Hosea, that is what he predicted. And that is why he is solving now. Because he foresaw it. He saw that we were going to face economic problems post-COVID. He predicted it. So we should all help him to solve it. Mr. Speaker, but I digress because my remit is in science, technology and innovation. As an immediate past minister for science, technology and innovation, I remind the House that a lot of the achievement of the government is in this area. To speak now, we have a foundry which is about 80% complete, and it is going to serve as an anchor industries for all the industries that we are building, because it's going to produce some strategic parts for the country. It is in Kwabena. Everybody can go there. Again, Nanato may not have done himself even justice, because he was brought to the fore, exactly in the international forum, the idea that Ghana is embracing and is in leading what I call circular economy. And that is why Ghana is at the forefront of recycling of plastics. The investment that has been made, both private and government, on circularity, recycling of plastics, and also in the e-waste. It is so significant and it's been appreciated all over the world. That is the structured way to deal with this. All those people who play to the garret. But Mr. Speaker, I believe that the government of Nana Akufo-Addo has done so much, and even in the international arena, he is the immediate past president of CVF, the Climate Vulnerable Forum. And in this instance, he has brought a legacy project to Ghana. The CVF Secretariat, involving some 58 million and some 1.4 billion people of Earth. The Secretariat is being located to Ghana. And in fact, it will be led, the president will be led by Mia Motley of Barbados, and then Dr. I believe Mohammed Rashid of this island in the he is going to be the first Secretary General of the Maldives, Mr. Speaker. So the president has brought a lot of Ghana even to the international. Again, Mr. Speaker, the president has done a lot in taking all the tentative steps that is making us, introduce nuclear energy into our energy mix. We have exhausted our hydro potential and the others, the bio-renewables. Unfortunately, we have something called base energy. And if you do not have, for now, if you do not have nuclear energy, we will be in big problem. Currently, as I speak now, we are nearly there because we are in the phase 2 and the IEA and all those people have visited us. We've called for an expression of interest. India,
Honorable Minister, your time is up. Please wind up.
Mr. Speaker, if you give me just a minute to summarize. I believe that at this stage, our president has done well, and I want to join the House in thanking him for steering the affairs of the nation post-COVID into safe waters. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very, very much, Honorable Minister, Honorable Member. So you take the last person. Honorable Akando, you are a ranking member. You are entitled to 15 minutes. So you have the floor now, Honorable.
For the opportunity to contribute to motion item 13 on today's order paper. Mr. Speaker, I was shocked to my bone marrow when His Excellency the President said that our CD has seen stability. Mr. Speaker, every leader, especially the President, is expected to exhibit some level of honesty. And of course, I asked myself whether the President was talking about Ghana CD. Because obviously, Mr. Speaker, our CD, the Ghana CD, has not seen any stability. Mr. Speaker, as I speak to you today, if you want $1, you have to change not less than 13.3 Ghana cedis before you get $1. Is it what we call stability? Mr. Speaker, 3 days ago, after the President has delivered the State of the Nation, myself with the minority chief whip changed some money, and we had to pay 13.3 Ghana cedis for $1. Mr. Speaker, obviously this cannot be stability. At the beginning of this year, the CD was around 11.2, 11.3. From 11.2 to 13 in a matter of less than 60 days. Even if the CD is depreciating at the rate of 0.01, you need more than 100 days to get to even 12.2. The Speaker, what it tells you is that the CD is depreciating at the rate of 0.02 on daily basis. And the President says the CD has seen stability. Mr. Speaker, I was also astonished to realize that His Excellency the President said very little health sector, about the health sector. Mr. Speaker, I think that the health sector is one of the most important sectors that must be prioritized as a country. And for the President to say very little, it tells you how the President doesn't value the health sector. Mr. Speaker, there's one thing that we need to settle on the floor of the House today. The Vice President, Laji Bawumia, has been saying that they introduced e-health in this country. And the President also reiterated when he appeared on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, we have to say this once and for all. Mr. Speaker, let me take you to the 2016 budget on page 114, paragraph 592. And the Speaker, with your permission, I read. The Speaker, the then minister responsible for finance had this to say. Mr. Speaker, I quote, Mr. Speaker, successful trial runs in e-health application in most of the departments of the piloted hospitals have been cut. The ministry will complete the following projects: conduct trial run of the 6 training departments at Konebu Teaching Hospital by the end of 2016. Monitor the go live and roll out the 11 departments at Zebula District Hospital, and conduct trial run remaining 8 departments at the Wa Regional Hospital. This is 2016. This is 2016. And all of a sudden, the President and his vice wants us to believe that they introduced e-health, this palpable falsehood. Let's begin again. One of the flagship projects for this government in the health sector is Agenda 111. The Speaker, Agenda 111 was just mentioned in passing. And of course, I was not surprised because there's absolutely nothing that can come out of an empty sack. Because of the abysmal performance of this government, he couldn't have briefed the House on the current status of Agenda 111. Mr. Speaker, the current state of Agenda 111 is that, after the last time the Secretariat, Agenda 111 Secretariat appeared before the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, the whole project has been estimated to cost $1.7 billion US. After the last time they appeared, only $250 million has been released from $1.7 billion, and only $250 million has been released. Mr. Speaker, there's absolutely no truth in the fact that we are going to see anything like 111 hospitals before His Excellency has over. And don't forget that in 2022, March, Excellency the President appeared before the floor of the House. He told the good people of this country that he was going to complete all the 111 hospitals before he hands over as President of the Republic of Ghana. The Speaker, he's left with less than 10 months to go. And a project that cost 1.7 billion, only 250 million has been disbursed. The Speaker, your guess is as good as mine. The Speaker, whilst we are struggling to even commission one ECOME of the Agenda 111, inherited a lot of projects were ongoing when they took the reins of power of this country. And projects like the Abetifi one, Kumawu one, and the Speaker, your own Formula one. The Speaker, all these projects 7 years down the lane have not been completed. If the President or this government means well for the people of this country, we would have completed this project first and put them to good use to benefit the good people of this country. Mr. Speaker, the state of the health sector, and for that matter, the state of the nation, is that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama left 18 dialysis machines at Konebu when he was leaving power. 18 dialysis machines. As I speak to you now, we are left with only 12 dialysis machines, with the increasing renal challenges in this country. Mr. Speaker, not only have the machines declined, but we cannot end dialysis in this country. Mr. Speaker, the state of the nation is that when His Excellency Mahama was leaving office, we left 8 dialysis machines at Konfano Teaching Hospital.
As I speak to you now, we are left with one, and this is a fact. One dialysis machine. Yes, one at Kolibu, and in fact, it has taken the 24 to raise funds to renovate Konfanochi. This is the performance of the Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia. The Speaker, when His Excellency General Dramani Mahama was the President of the Republic of Ghana, he invested not less than $264 million into a program we call National Medical Equipment Replacement, where we saw the distribution of medical equipment into more than 150 hospitals. The Speaker, the state of Ghana, especially in the health sector, is that now our hospitals are lacking basic health equipment. The Speaker, if you go 37, we don't even have MRI there. 37 of all places. The MRI has broken down, and yet it has not been fixed. Mr. Speaker, the state of Ghana is that the nurses who completed their education since 2020, 2021, 2022, 2024 still at home. From 2020 till today, they are all at home. That is the state of Ghana as I speak to you now. Whilst a lot of them are leaving the country, the shores of Ghana, those who have completed for the past 4 years are still at home. That is the state of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the ambulances we bought, about 300 of them, less than 2 years down the lane, about 10 of those ambulances have been grounded. That is the state of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, what we have in Ghana now is what we call sick hospitals. Hospitals that are sick. Yes, sick hospitals. Yes, Mr. Speaker, with your permission, and I have already cleared with leadership. I have a video, and it is only 1 minute 30 seconds. I have already cleared with leadership, and I want us to play. If you will permit me, the audio visual people to show us, and I will show the honorable members the sick hospitals I'm talking about. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I have already and I've cleared with leadership. Mr. Speaker, can you allow me to play it? Mr. Speaker, your direction, please, so that the audio visual people may show the sick hospital I am talking about.
So can't you see, for me isn't for wet, you know they please me like the eyes in your chest. So can't you see?
It is an ultimate walk of shame for any visitor to the Sandema Hospital in the Bulsan North of the Upper East region. If you are blindfolded, damp and a cloth of spools from your eyes, you could never guess that this place is a hospital. The walls are dirty, paint almost peeling off. The ceiling is greenish and rotting away. The corridors.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I want to know under which of our rules this video is being shown in the chamber. Who authorized it? And who gave instructions for the Our rules must guide what we do in the chamber. And I want to understand why this is coming from and upon what basis this is being shown in the next.
Yes.
Speaker, there's no particular rule prohibits the showing of evidence in presentation. Indeed, when the finance minister was making his presentation, the former finance minister, he showed drafts. In fact, when the president some time ago was they showed Lajena Hospital. So I think what should be prohibited is when you show indecent materials. But if a colleague is speaking and shows sick hospital, and that evidence is that I don't think it could be a new way of doing things. This digitalization is going on. This could be another form of digitalization. I see nothing wrong with it, and there's nothing in our standing orders that prohibits the use of that, since it's not an obscene material. That is my view.
Madam Speaker, when the president of the REM is talking about performance tracker, you go and bring some antiquated video, to come and confuse this house. What of this? How can we validate what he's trying to show us? What is the source of this? If With respect, if this is an ancient matter that he's trying to force on our imagination, how do we know it? So please, Honorable Speaker, it cannot be authenticated, and therefore you shouldn't feed us with propaganda.
Honorable member, cannot authenticate the veracity of it. It could be that it's a hospital that has been already renovated. So Honorable Akando, just proceed with your contribution and just do away with this.
Speaker, hold on. Mr. Speaker, the chair is very powerful.
Come again.
The chair is very powerful, and we all defer to you. So, colleagues. Mr. Speaker. So, are we taking it that from now, Mr. Speaker, from now, because Mr. Speaker, some of the things the former finance minister showed on the table turned out to be false as well. Can we say that from now, whether the president, the ministers, no one is allowed to show any video unless yourself and leadership authenticate it? Because we
honorable member, you may continue your debate without the video.
Mr. Speaker, I'm a very responsible member of, and I don't do things by heart. Mr. Speaker, for the records, before I showed this on the floor of the House, after speak audio-visual section, I came to you, and I knew you were coming to sit. I discussed that issue with you. You directed that I discussed with leadership. Mr. Speaker, I discussed this issue with the minority chief whip and the majority chief whip. I even gave him a copy. I sent a copy to him. Mr. Speaker, I don't do things by heart.
So leadership agreed.
Mr. Speaker, ask the member of parliament.
But we didn't discuss at the plenary. You came to me and I go and discuss with the leadership.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what is important is that, and I want Ghanaians to know, that the hospitals that are supposed to treat us.
Honorable Akando, you came to me, I said go and discuss it with you. And when we sat at the precedent, it didn't come. So I presume you probably didn't discuss it. It has come up, it is now on record, and we are taking a new decision. New directive is that if any man to show a video, it should be discussed at the precedent. Both sides of the House should agree together with the presiding officer or the speaker. So I think that is the new directive that we can do.
We would not challenge you, but you are making the pronouncement short of one. We are saying that he's showing it because the president and the finance minister, the former finance minister, had cause to show that. So do not say that only members, because otherwise you will say that president or the finance minister or ministers that want to show video, they don't need the approval of both sides. But your ruling to cover all that from now, any video that is shown in the chamber must get the approval of both sides of the House, leadership of both sides, before it's shown. That's what we are saying. So the president does not come and show, because the president does not control this House. This is House of Parliament. We are not subservient to the president. He cannot come here video when we are not in agreement. So, Mr. Speaker, the directive clear that from now, whether you are president, vice president, minister, unless both sides of the House agree, you are not allowed to show any video in the House. Don't limit it to only members of Parliament, because we are not under the president. The president controls the executive. This is the judiciary and the Parliament, the legislature. We are not under the president, so he cannot come and show whatever he wants to show, and we cannot even show things in our own house. So make the directive clear that from now, president, vice president, ministers, members of Parliament, you can only show video or graphs when both sides of the House approve of it. That's what we want. Make it clear, Mr. Speaker.
Let's hear the first deputy speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, notwithstanding the minority chief whip's ranting, this House is regulated by our rules, the rules made by ourselves. State of the Nation address is not part of the things regulated by rules. What is the content of the State of the Nation? It's not regulated by rules. What is the content of our speech? The word here is debate the State of the Nation address. The debate regulations does not include presenting videos. It may not be out, but it is inappropriate to just jump the house with a video, the content of which is it not a rule that even if you speak to a document, you must put it on the table? Is it not a rule that when you speak to a document, you will be required to table it? So, is it not a rule that to a statement, the speaker must approve it? Is it not that you, even a motion, the terms of it must be discussed with Mr. Speaker before it is admitted? I think we should not encourage situations where in the course of your presentation, you present something, you label it, the authenticity of which is not discussed or verified, and then it goes record. If it is necessary, let it be discussed with Mr. Speaker, let it be discussed by the House, let there be no doubt about what is the content, what is being put out, is it true or not? As we know each other, we know what technology can do today, and we know what each of us is capable of doing in our house. Let the rules of our house guide us. Let's not extend our rules to the State of the Nation address or the presentation of the budget. I think this confusion should be cleared. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well.
Mr. Speaker, I agree with the Deputy Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, in this House, my senior colleague knows, colleagues on his side turned up in this House with bags of rice, kenke, gas cylinders to illustrate their points. At what point did those colleagues get the approval of Mr. Speaker before they exhibit kenke, bags of rice to illustrate their point? Mr. Speaker, he conveniently tried to absolve the executive by saying that when the president comes here, we don't control him. When the president is in parliament, the speaker sits in the most prominent chair. In this House, the president only gets up to speak when Mr. Speaker gives him the authority. So whatever he says here must also be authenticated. So we are saying that yes, he comes here under a provision in the Constitution. But when he's going to show video, okay, today he showed that he's constructed 10,800 kilometers of new route. It turned out to be false. Should we ban him from now? He's not allowed to do that because he's presented false information to the House. So we can make it simple. We are saying that from now, he's simple. In fact, you could be showing that video, for all you know, is corrupted, and you are showing things that are very, very bad for the nation. We agree, but it must extend to everybody. You cannot make a rule in Parliament and say that when the president comes here, he can show anything because he's an executive person coming here. This is a House of Parliament. Make it simple, Mr. Speaker. When you show a graph or anything, pictorial or video in this House, you must get the approval of both sides of the House. And Mr. Speaker, before you show it, once one side says no, you cannot show it. When the president comes and he starts showing videos, who will react? Whether it's a president from this side or that side. That is all, Mr. Speaker. You have an opportunity to give a ruling that is sustainable. But if you give a window, it becomes something that is not sustainable. I don't think Honorable Akando was going to show a video that would be. And indeed, let me confirm, he consulted me and then Honorable Ano. Honorable Ano cannot, the majority chief cannot say that. He forwarded the video to us. There's nothing false or bad in that video. In fact, these videos have been shown because I've got a copy of it. Mr. Speaker, dilapidated hospitals are now threat to this country. Don't you have any dilapidated hospital in your constituency? Exactly. So what is obscene about it? What is obscene about bad roads, dilapidated hospitals, and crooked schools in Ghana? It's everywhere.
Anyway, I'm sorry, there's just one misconception I must correct. that people have brought a gas cylinder in the house. I recall, yes, one man gas cylinder was then presiding, and I ruled him out of order. Let the record reflect that, and the record reflects so that I was sitting behind him. The speaker had every opportunity to say, this is not a bag of rice, but it was. But I said that what he brought into the chamber could be an offensive weapon. So right to bring it into the chamber, and I ruled him out. The speaker has the right to rule something which is not right. But I'm saying that the rules is about debate. Debating the state of the nation. Nobody can stop you from saying your hometown hospital is dilapidated. I regret if it is so. But unfortunately, we're going to bring photos which we cannot verify, whether that is of your hometown or a village near Wa or from Cote d'Ivoire, or improvised. That is what I'm saying is inappropriate. In any case, the debate, when we're doing appointments committee, at the appointments committee, we permitted people to bring videos of members, but the people were questioned on it. So the authenticity were verified with following up on it. You can't just throw things in there and expect that it is part of your debate. You're responding to or you're commenting on what the president did not introduce that photo. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, just give me some seconds. Yes, Honorable Dr. Fiye.
Mr. Speaker, in all humility, I want to bring another perspective to this question. My colleague, Honorable Akando, you know hospital settings, there are norms that is almost universal. Please, we have to know that if you are dealing, I saw some pictures of clients, and I submit that it's unethical to present clients in those settings, hospital settings, without their permission. So, Mr. Speaker, even if leadership agreed, I would have objected that they erred in that agreement. It's unethical to show patients in that kind of situation. We do not have their permission to show that permission. Okay, so that is the contribution.
Mr. Speaker,
I think, Honorable Akando, you may continue. But like I said, we are all learning, and I think today's episode should also be a learning curve for speakers and leaders. If anybody wants to show any video, it must be agreed by both sides. The video, pictures, whatever it is, must be agreed by and the speaker or the presiding officer, so that nobody is taking ambush in this manner. So, Honorable Akando, whatever it is, just take it in a good faith. And let's continue. You have 5 minutes more.
Mr. Speaker, I'm most grateful for your direction, except to make few clarifications. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest deal of respect, this is not the first time dilapidated hospitals have been shown this floor of the House. The minister responsible for health, Honorable Kwaku Ajimamanu, did same on the floor of the hospitals. They were not garages. There were no rows. They were I remember La General Hospital. It was shown here on this same floor. Mr. Speaker, the first deputy speaker made mention of the fact that not verify the video. Mr. Speaker, these are not new videos. They are in the system and they are labeled. And even before I spoke to the members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, if I speak on the floor of the House and I lie on the floor of the House, I bear the consequences. There are rules with respect to that. So, Mr. Speaker, nobody should attempt to intimidate anybody, because it is our rules doesn't frown on evidence. Our rules do not frown on evidence. And so, Mr. Speaker, I don't think I have erred in any way. I think I have done the right thing. Mr. Speaker, what is important is that, and that is what we must concern ourselves with as members of Parliament, the dangerous nature of health facilities. Our health facilities that are posing as death traps. That is what we must be wasting our time on. Mr. Speaker, the most important, Mr. Speaker, the most important is that we now have what we call sick hospitals. The hospitals where we must go and seek for treatment are even sick. Mr. Speaker, there was this survey, Ghana Harmonized Health Facility Report, and this is what the report says. Only 5% of facilities had a full complement of basic consulting room examination sets. And this suggests a higher risk of the patient being misdiagnosed. The second one is 99% of district hospitals do not have MRI services. The Speaker, the next one is that 85% of health facilities have routine maintenance for infrastructure. 62% of health facilities that offer blood transfusion services lack blood storage facilities. Mr. Speaker, these very serious issues, in any serious jurisdiction, we will be prioritizing the health sector. And so I expected the members of parliament from the other side to even rise and support me in bringing to the fore of some of issues for the executive, if we have any responsible in place, to act expeditiously to fix this mess. That is what I seek to do, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity.
Very well. So we have brought the debate to a close, and I will revert to leadership for direction. Leadership.
Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 63, 64. And Mr. Speaker, Order 64 says that a member may draw the attention of the member presiding at any time during a sitting that members present in the House constitute less than 1/3 of the members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, as I count now, the majority side are only 11 members. And majority side are only 11 members. The minority side, we are 12 members. Mr. Speaker, it's less than 93 members who are supposed to work in this House. And therefore, I call on you right now, Mr. Speaker, to adjourn the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, Order 64 actually regulates quorum. Order 64(3) talks about the number to be present. But Order 64(4) directs what is to be done if the numbers are not sufficient. Mr. Speaker, if you so please, you may be guided by Order 64(4). I thank you very much.
Honourable members, Bajura is inviting us to go into Order 64(4), which talks about quorum. So I will direct clerk will ring the bell, and the clerk should ring the bell and invite members who are in their offices to come to the chamber. Meanwhile, while the bell is rang, I will invite the Deputy Majority Leader to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like us to take item number 50 on page 24, consideration of the Environmental Protection Bill 2023. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honourable members, Let me invite you to page 24, item listed 50. Environmental Protection 2023 at the consideration. Yes. So we'll begin with the chairman. Let's begin from clause 1.
Establishment.
I don't even have the bill. Yes, clause 1.
Establishment of the authority.
I believe there is no proposed amendment. So I'll put the question, all those in favor that clause 1 stands part of the bill, say aye. All those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. Clause 1 is directed to stand part of the bill. Yes, clause 2, I understand there is a proposed amendment by the chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Clause 2 amendment proposed, delete and insert the following. 2. The object of the authority is to regulate, protect, coordinate, and exercise general oversight all matters relating to climate change and the environment. The Speaker, is just a rearrangement of the original clause to include climate change.
Members, there is a proposed amendment, Chairman. I will go ahead to put the question. All those in favor of the proposed amendment, say aye. All those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The proposed amendment is carried. Yes. So I'll put the question that all those in favor that clause 2 as amended stands part of the bill, say aye. All those against, say no. Members, clause 2 as amended stands part of the bill. Clause 3.
Functions of the authority.
Yes, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, clause 3 amendment proposed, delete and insert the following as stated on page 24, 5, and 26. The Speaker, is basically a rearrangement, a text in the bill, just to bring clarity and organize the functions under thematic areas.
Honorable members, the proposed amendment is before us. If there's no other issue about it, I'll put the question. All those in favor of the proposed amendment to clause 3, say aye. All those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The proposed amendment to clause 3 is carried. And the question is, all those in favor that clause 3 as amended stands part of the bill, say aye. All those against, say no. Honorable members, clause 3 as amended is direct part of the bill. We took clause 4.
Governing body of the authority.
Yes, Chairman.
Speaker, clause 4 amendment proposed, subclause 1, paragraphs C, D, and E. Delete and insert the following. Mr. Speaker, as stated, the purpose of this is aligned with the current drafting style practice to include the Ministry of Energy.
Honourable members, the proposed amendment is before the House. I'll go ahead and put the question. All those in favor of the proposal to cross 4 say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The proposed amendment is carried. And the question is in favor that clause 4 as amended stands part of the bill say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. Clause 4 is directed to be part of the bill. Now clause 5.
Functions of the board.
It appears there is no proposed amendment to clause 5. The question is all those in favor that clause 5 stands part of the bill say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. Clause 5 is directed to be part of the bill. Clause 6.
Tenure of office of members of the board.
Yes, Chairman.
Speaker, amendment proposed clause 6, subclause 1, delete and insert the following. A member of the board, except the chief executive officer, a member specified under paragraph C to E of subsection 1 of section 4, shall hold office for a period of 4 years and is eligible for reappointment for another term only.
Honourable members, there is a proposed amendment clause 6(1). All those in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. If you are here and you cannot also respond, then all those in favor of the proposed amendment to clause 1 say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The proposed amendment to clause 1 is carried. Yes, Chairman, subclause 2.
Subclause 2, delete subclause 2.
Honourable members, the proposed amendment is to delete subclause 2. All those in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The proposed amendment to delete clause 2 is carried. Let me now put clause 6 as variously amended. All those in favor that clause 6 as variously amended stands part of the bill say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. Clause 6 as variously amended stands part of the bill. Clause 7.
Of the board.
There is no proposed amendment. The question is all those in favor that clause 7 stands part of say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. Clause 7 is directed part of the bill. Clause 8.
Disclosure of interest.
Honourable members, there is no proposed amendment to clause 8. All those in favor that clause 8 stands part of the bill say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. Clause 8 is directed to stand part of the bill. Clause 9.
Establishment of committees.
There is no proposed amendment to clause 9. All those in favor that clause 9 stand part of the bill say aye. All those against say no. Members, the ayes have it. Clause 9 stands part of the bill. Clause 10.
Allowances.
Proposed amendment to clause 10. All those in favor that clause 10 stands part of the say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. Clause 10 is directed to be part of the bill. Clause 11.
Ministerial directives.
There's no proposed amendment to clause 11. All those in favor that clause 11 stands part of the bill, say aye. All those say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The proposed clause 11 is directed to be part of the bill. Now, clause 12. Chairman.
Establishment of Chemicals Management Meeting Committee.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, clause 12, the amendment proposed is to delete, to delete chemicals management head note.
And to clause 12 head note has been moved by the chairman. All those of the proposed amendment say aye. All those against say no. Honorable members have it. The proposed amendment to the head note is carried. Mr. Chairman, clause 12 again, sub clause 1.
Sub clause 1, delete and insert the following. 1. Without limiting subsection 1 of section 9, the board shall establish coordinating committees for conventions, treaties, protocols, agreements, and frameworks on the environment.
Honourable members, all those in favour of the proposed amendment to sub-clause 1 say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The proposed amendment is carried. Chairman, again, sub-clause 1.
Speaker, sub-clause 2.
That is VII.
VII. Yeah.
Yes.
So clause 12, amendment proposed clause 2, delete and insert the following, the Speaker, as stated on page 29 and 30. The purpose is to realign to see the current star.
Very well. Honourable members, all those in favour of the proposed amendment say aye. All those against say no. Members, the ayes have it. The proposed amendment is carried. Let me now put clause 12 as variously amended. All those in favour that clause 12 as variously amended stands part of the bill, say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. Clause 12 as variously amended stands part of the bill. Very well. Honourable members, we will bring consideration to a close and revert to the motion or the quorum that was raised by Honourable Member Fuhu West. The bell was rung, and according to my time, 10 minutes now, so still the numbers not up to so I will go ahead to adjourn the house. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, just to remind colleagues that we are sitting on Monday, and as much as possible, we should start on time so that more colleagues can make their presentation in line with the President's State of the Nation address. If we can come on time, because Wednesday we are not sitting because of the Independence Day. So we are very grateful for you being the chair.
Very well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are guided by Chief to adjourn the House.
Very well.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let me thank all of you for your cooperation. House is accordingly adjourned to Monday, 10 o'clock in the forenoon. The House stands adjourned.